Welcome back to the Game OK podcast.
How's it going?
Yeah, I'm here with Dan again, and we've decided to scramble and get some mics together because we're going to talk about E3. It happens every year, and it's always something. You always feel like you lose a little bit of yourself when you watch it.
Well, it's video game Christmas. Everything's here.
Yeah, you're celebrating all those gifts, all that money. You're celebrating everything as far as advertising goes. It really is like Christmas. Except
Enjoy this media, you capitalist pigs.
the difference is with Christmas, you get your presents in theory. Here, it could take years.
Yeah, this is more, I guess, the promise of stuff rather than
Yeah.
like the immediate.
Yeah.
Because so many of these games are coming out in like 2019.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I guess it's an important thing to note is that we're going to talk about. We got a whole list of games to talk about here, but we aren't really passing judgment on the games themselves. I guess we're just passing judgment more on how it looked based purely on marketing. So
Yeah, pretty much.
I think we could be wrong about anything that we say in this discussion if the game's good, or if it's
Yeah,
bad.
it could be like expect mistakes. Like these games could be good, but like if the marketing made it look bad, then it looked bad.
Yeah.
This is how it is.
And also, games sometimes come out that, for whatever reason, you're not paying attention to during that whole period. But then if you get around to playing it for whatever reason, you might really, really like it. I mean, that's what happened to me last year. I didn't really pay any attention to Nier, and then I bought it because it was like $40, and I was like, oh my god, this is my favorite game of the year.
Yeah, like that game became like, hey, do you like something that'll like hit you hard but be really fun at the same time?
Yeah, you don't get games like that very often, and you're certainly not going to know that that's what you're getting at E3. So I guess that's kind of our disclaimer.
I mean, unless it's a port.
Unless it's a port. You should know what you're getting, unless it's a bad port.
Oh, by the way, if you own an Xbox One, just saying, Nier's good.
Yeah,
maybe you should buy that.
Yeah, if you should buy Nier if you own an Xbox. All right, so we are planning to go in order of the conferences thus far, but we're gonna start by just talking about a few games that we heard about. They weren't in any conferences, and what do we got here?
Just stuff that wasn't like there.
Yeah,
or, like got announced on their own, like little like either through a press release or like just some random news article.
Yeah, or you saw a commercial for it. What's the first game? You put this one on the list. It's Dead or Alive 6.
Right. So this was announced like way like the day before E3 was starting. Like this came in hot before any conference or anything. So yeah, Dead or Alive is getting a sequel after I guess many years of it just being kind of Dead or Alive 5.
I remember playing it Dead or Alive 5 in 2013. That's when it first came out, I think.
Yeah, it came out like around the time like near the end of last gen. And from there, like 5 has just kind of lived on as a free game where you just buy costumes for characters. It's been very profitable for them.
Yeah, apparently they turned it around.
Yeah,
because I'm not really a Dead or Alive fan, but I was surprised that they kept getting characters and then lots of costumes and crap like that. So
yeah, just like crossover stuff. Like a King of Fighter character showed up.
Yeah.
It was a fancy run. They had a thing where they put in an Attack on Titan level.
yeah.
But then like they ran out of the license, and then the level got taken out.
Oh, so they couldn't even spring for that much. Not enough money for a good license.
Well, yeah. It has like unique animations and everything. It's really cool.
And so if you got that stage, you got it forever, and no one else can get it. So good for you, I guess.
Yeah. But anyways, right before E3 started, they announced Dead or Alive 6, which it seems like they're trying to go for like more of a, I guess, serious approach.
I can't imagine why. I can't imagine why they would do that.
Like they tried this with 5 with the whole I'm a Fighter campaign like stuff, where they really wanted to be like, okay, this is more than just fan service, and you can probably enjoy this. So, but obviously like that didn't completely like work out. Like they still had like a ton of fan service stuff.
Oh yeah.
They brought They brought over the Dead or Alive extreme costumes.
Yeah,
Put Venus on. Yeah,
yeah.
but it's
Go ahead. I'm tripping over you. We'll
Okay.
figure this out. Go ahead, Dan.
it seems like they're going for, I guess, a more serious, more mature kind of thing. You're probably not going to get as much weird physics. It's probably going to be more system based rather than like I guess putting your age to 99 and watching the physics go crazy.
Yeah, I mean, there was I don't know. I was always even when I was like a teenager, I would get kind of embarrassed looking at Dead or Alive. And I was really into Soul Calibur, which was probably like the number 2 in that category of fighting game.
Yeah, it was like back when it was all 3D fighters.
Yeah, so I mean,
I remember.
yeah.
Sorry.
No,
when my brother he went to Blockbuster and like rented DOA 4, and we had like one of his friends over, and like he looked at my brother and was like, "Oh, you're just buying this because of like that."
Yeah.
Like, the stigma was there even with like 4.
Very early. I mean, it as far as I can remember, that was. I mean, they marketed that. You know, that was a big part of it, and that's not really gonna be great for long-term appeal. I feel because that's not a great reputation to have.
I guess remember the Bernie Mac show?
Vaguely.
They had a whole like episode where it was just the little kid playing like Dead or Alive, like one beach volleyball.
Yeah.
And like Bernie Mac would just look at him, and then I think at one point he just like looked at the screen and just like looked at the camera and just shook his head in shame.
Yeah, I mean that. Sometimes I wonder if that was happening with me.
They kind of built it up for themselves. This whole stigma.
Well,
but it seems like they're attempting to break out of it.
I mean, that would be neat. I mean, it's pretty easy. At least speaking on the outside, it should be pretty easy to just take things a little more seriously and have it be like, this is a fighting game and we're gonna fight, and it's not about bouncing. You know, that's not the only reason to play this. So I don't know. I mean, you know, like a lot of fighting games, there is some really ridiculous stuff in Dead or Alive that they should probably keep, just because it's like, I want to see the Zack's Teletubby outfit. Do you remember that?
That's in like every Dead or Alive game.
Yeah, keep that, but you know, let's just be a little more professional, which I don't think.
It's tongue in cheek, a little more professional.
Yeah, I don't think it's that hard to do. I mean, you know, you're just trying to try. So that's it, and hopefully that works for them, I guess, because it looks like Dead or Alive is back. I mean, fighting games are back. So
have fun with that. But speaking of gratuitous amounts of fan service.
Oh yeah. That's our next
like,
game.
Atlas announced, I guess, Catherine Fullbody.
Well, I've heard about this for a little while now, but we got confirmation it's coming to the West, right?
Yeah.
There's no release date though, even for Japan.
I don't know if it came out in Japan yet.
No, I went on Wikipedia and they have no release date for any region.
Oh, jeez.
So this is Atlas. This could take a long time, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I myself haven't played Catherine. I've watched like a few friends play through it. But you've played it.
I did, yeah. I liked Catherine. I mean, I played it many years after it had first come out. And I liked it. I thought it was a neat puzzle game, and I thought that as far as like trying to wrap a story around a puzzle game, it was pretty interesting. Yeah, it had good characters. I mean, you know, it's not a serious game at all, but it was entertaining. And
I don't know, like from what I saw, the questions they kind of throw at you are really like.
Oh yeah, no,
they really cut you.
There is some serious stuff to it because they do talk about, or at least they try to, you know, why do people do this kind of behavior? You know, what's the little, you know, it's that whole thing about you got the little angel on one side and the devil on the other side, and they definitely capture that well in the story. I mean, literally, but also figuratively.
Don't the loading screens like give you like kind of like weird facts about relationships and things like that?
I believe so, yeah. There's a lot of that, and it was neat. It was a neat game, so I'm happy that it's getting a port, but where I'm a little skeptical about this is that this is an enhanced port, which is not a bad thing, but The reason that I'm skeptical is that when they first announced this, they've said we are adding a third Catherine. So if you don't know the plot of Catherine, it revolves around the main character's relationship with two girls named Catherine. And so we are now adding a third character, which I don't feel can very easily be done in the way the
Yeah.
story. I mean, this game has had a complete story for a long time now. You know, this game came out in like 2010 or something. So it's not easy to do that. And so I'm a little worried about that. How will we add a part of the story that could be a big deal? I mean,
Yeah.
this is basically
'Cause
what happened in Persona 4 Golden. Was they added new story content. Some of it was very important, but at least for me personally, the way it was added was not. I felt
like
it could have been added a little better.
in
Or
4,
yeah,
you felt that like it was added content.
yes,
Like whenever you ran into Marie, like
Mhm.
everyone like all the characters like
yeah.
changed in like the way they acted. She didn't really fit in comparison to the rest of the cast. It felt
Marie
off
Sue.
whenever you like talk. Yeah,
Marie
Marie Sue,
Sue.
as some of us like to dub her.
Yeah, I mean, it's so I kind of have Persona 4 Golden flashbacks when I think of this, where I'm like, I hope this works. But the other thing is that a lot of time has passed. I think more time has passed between Catherine and this than Persona 4 and the Golden. So for me, I'm really curious about whether or not they're going to be able to get the cast back, or at least, well, when I say get the cast back, we really mean get Troy Baker back, because he
Yeah,
is
he is
his career has taken
expensive
a
man.
turn since those days. So he voiced the main character, and I think he did a pretty great job. But I don't know if he would come back because he never, well, he left the role of Kanji, which is from Persona 4. So
Yeah.
is this going to be another example of Matt Mercer voicing a
Yeah,
Troy Baker
just-
character? He's done that a lot lately, so that could happen.
If he can do it, because it seemed like for Catherine especially, it seemed like he was just kind of doing his Troy Baker voice, which is just his kanji voice.
Oh, well,
so-
yeah.
I can see it happening.
Yeah,
Just,
I mean,
just putting Matt on those extra scenes. But then again, I guess he would have to be so precise in his voice acting to fit
yeah,
the other voice dialogue.
yeah.
It would be a little off-putting at times, I guess.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where I wonder how they're going to handle that. It's Atlas, so the one thing we do know is that it's going to take them a very long time to do any of this stuff. I personally hope that that is something that changes, but I don't think it's going to change with this particular game. So
Yeah.
that is a game I'm curious for. I hope it's going to be good because I like the puzzle gameplay. If we get more stages and stuff, that's a lot of fun. But as far as the story, it's like you never know with these kinds of things because it's not an expansion. Like this is being integrated into the story.
Yeah.
So
I guess we'll have to just wait and see on this one.
yeah, there was a trailer. It was not in English, obviously.
Did it explain anything? I guess.
I mean, this is one of those things that you can't really tell quite yet. Like I feel like we won't really know how it's going to turn out unless we're playing it.
Yeah.
So
I guess.
they could have just done a Catherine too. I mean, given how much time has passed, I almost feel like maybe they should have. But this is certainly a cheaper alternative.
Well, if Catherine was kind of its own. I guess in the end, Catherine was its own like self-contained tale.
Yeah,
Like.
but you can
So-
just kind of, I don't know, if you really wanted to do more of it, there are certainly ways you could do a sequel. But it probably wouldn't have any of the same characters, and that wouldn't be weird because Atlas has done that a lot. Most Atlas games have completely different casts. So,
But speaking of tales,
Tales.
it's time to move on to a tale of swords and souls, eternally reborn.
Yeah,
I probably got that wrong.
that was close enough.
Yeah, close enough.
I feel kind of bad because I haven't really been looking too much into Soul Calibur 6 since it was announced. I was very excited when it was announced because I used to play Soul Calibur a lot back in the day. And
Oh, yeah.
It was a lot of fun. But I think there's a part of me that is just like, I don't really want to get myself too hyped up for this. I'd like to just let it gently fall into my lap and have fun playing. It's supposed to come out this year, right?
Yeah, it is this year.
Hmm.
And well, actually, I don't even know if they've confirmed anything for like a release date yet. But
I thought I saw one somewhere. I
I
thought
think
it was
it's
this year.
yeah.
But even if it's early next year, I mean that's fine. Um, it's definitely, I mean this has to be better than five. I mean that
Oh,
much.
well, five's a low bar.
Five was
It
not very
like
good.
even in the latest like I guess trailer, they showed
Hmm.
off their new story mode,
Yeah.
which seems to kind of like like you have little segments with characters, but they all seem to be connected to one linear forward moving story.
Okay.
So you'll have like a little timeline, and then like you'll go down like vertically and pick a character, and then it'll appear like, hey, this is what they're doing within this timeline on the story.
Okay. Um,
So stories like acting in like parallel with others is what I'm getting
yeah.
from this
As
newest
long
trailer.
as we get to play as most of the characters, that's fine.
Yeah, you will get. I assume you'll pretty much get every character from SoulCal 1, and maybe a
mm,
few from like 2, 3, and 4. Maybe five's a stretch, but
I would be really surprised if anybody from five comes back because I don't think any of the brand new characters in five were received particularly well.
no.
So,
Like
uh,
the only one that like really comes to mind is like Zwei. But
Zwei is
was
like,
awful.
yeah, Zwei might be the worst character in the Soul Calibur. Like, as far as from his moveset and stuff, like, I don't necessarily mean personality. He might be the worst because he's got nothing. His moves are bad. He's got a stand that doesn't
Yeah.
really work that well. He's just really terrible.
Even his design feels very out of
Oh
place.
yeah. I mean, I almost feel
Like
like
leather pants.
if you showed him to people and you didn't say like guess which of these is the guest character, I think people would say Zwei because he doesn't really fit in.
He's like he jumped out of like mid 2000s Devil May Cry, like Devil May Cry
Yeah.
2.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm hopeful for Soul Calibur just because it's been a long time, and I just want it to meet a relatively low bar of being like better than the last one, which was not very good. That's all I'm really hoping for.
I just want a good Soul Calibur, and I want to be able to play it for a while.
Yeah, replay value is of course also very nice, so hopefully there's something there for that other than just playing online. And then we only have one more game here that was not at a con.
Yeah.
Well, this was at a conference that I did not watch.
Technically.
I did not watch this,
But
because,
it's like
ugh.
with the example given to us last year, we both kind of felt that
Oh
it
yeah,
would just kind of be more, I guess, edgy kind of jabs at the industry. So it was like, it's unimportant. We kind of really don't need to watch it.
yeah. We were talking about the Devolver Digital Conference, which they did last year, and it was basically an Adult Swim sketch. And it was a joke. I don't even remember if anything real was announced there, but I guess this year
they
there
announced,
were a few
like,
things.
I think they showed off like, I don't know, Revolver, and then they showed off Absolver, and then they showed off like a weird pixel art Serious Sam game.
I'm not really
Okay.
familiar with Devolver's catalog, but we are not really talking about a Devolver game. It's just something they happen to be publishing because it's a port of another game I've never played.
Of a very interesting game that.
Yeah.
So the history of this game is very weird. It's an old FromSoft game,
Mm-hmm.
and essentially it's called Metal Wolf Chaos. In the game, you play as the President of the United States. Have to stop the Vice President of the United States who has betrayed you and taken over the nation. And you must stop him with your 100% American mech.
That sounds pretty special. I've heard about this.
It's a very
and I never
interesting
played it.
idea.
Is
The
it
weird
good?
part is that
Is it actually good?
it is good. But unfortunately, not a lot of people got to play it because this was surprisingly an Xbox exclusive in Japan.
Oh, it wasn't even released here.
Wasn't released here, so
Oh,
and the game itself now the original game goes for upwards of like $200 online.
yeah, wow.
So
That's
So
crazy.
it's this weird kind of game where it's like it's 100% English voice acted. The
Y-
menus are in
Yeah,
English.
you think they would
Like
have just
everything's
released it.
there. Yeah. But
Um,
the thing is that I guess Good Pals at Devolver has like saw that this game is like something people really need to play. So
mm.
they're starting to port it to PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
Yeah, I
Which is
mean,
good.
FromSoft is big. Back in the day, FromSoft was like making uh, that game with the giant controller.
Uh,
What was that? It was like a tank simulator.
I
Steel
got
Steel Battalion.
Steel, but that was them.
Steel Battalion used to be a giant controller game, and then I believe it became one of the worst Kinect games of all time.
Yeah,
And I know FromSoft has been involved with that series, but like this is back when FromSoft wasn't really popular.
when they weren't as big. I mean, come on, FromSoft, give us
Yeah,
Lost Kingdoms 3.
yeah. I mean,
Everybody remembers that.
we'll see FromSoft again later on this list, but yeah, I mean that's pretty much it as far as the no conference. We don't really have a lot because I mean E3 is still happening, so whatever.
Yeah. We're recording we're recording it for those, I guess, those views.
Yeah, I mean, we're just going over the conferences for the most part. So we're gonna
Yeah,
start
pretty much.
now. I wanted to before we get into any specific conference. I was thinking about it, and I feel like there's two words that kind of sum up how I felt at the end of most of these conferences, and that is that's it. Because I feel like most of these conferences ended really awkwardly or in like a weird premature way where
Yeah.
you thought there'd be more.
It
Yeah, your
like
thoughts on that?
every single one kind of like if it was a good one, then it was like, oh, this is pretty good, and then it just kind of stops. Like,
Yeah.
I guess the big culprit of that would be Sony and I guess recently Nintendo.
Yeah.
Like,
Although I should say, we're not going to talk about
Square,
Nintendo
too.
in this video. Nintendo is going to be saved in part 2 because we're really trying to milk those views.
Yeah.
Uh,
Also because since Nintendo seems to be like something we're big fans of,
Yeah.
we're gonna be bringing on Mike from last time if any of you
Yeah, he
decide to watch
Yeah,
our
he's going to be in that
other
episode, and also, well, the real reason we're doing it is because Nintendo streams for 3 days, and
Yeah.
we didn't want to wait that long. So, yeah, but you can agree, like regardless of whether or not they were good, they just kind of stopped.
Yeah. I have a feeling that this is definitely one of those periods where we know the next generation's coming. So this is like these are like the last, I guess, hurrah for the PS4, Xbox.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Not Switch, because Switch is gonna be
Right.
gone.
Obviously, that's
like,
not ending anytime soon. But I do
It's
agree
the end
with
of a
you.
generation, kind of E3.
Yeah. So, with that said, I think we will talk about the first. This is actually the shortest as far as the amount of games we have written down here. The woman at the beginning of the Electronic Arts pre-show said there are going to be 5 games, and I think we counted 7, and we're only
Yeah.
talking about 4. So.
Yeah. Just a quick preference. We're probably gonna, as I guess rules for conferences and like what we're gonna talk about. It's gonna be stuff that either pertains to something we like saw that was very interesting and piqued our interest, or just something that was just so bad that we can, I guess, jump on it.
Or it just looked bad.
Yeah.
So hey, we saw Battlefield, but
Yeah,
I
something
don't
to talk about.
I don't really have much to say about Battlefield. I'm not a huge Battlefield person, and the only value that Battlefield 5 has to me is that we added it to our Battle Royale counter, which as of now is at 8. I've seen 8 different Battle Royale games at E3 this year.
Yeah. One counter we probably should have made.
Yeah.
We didn't, because in hindsight it was just kind of something that was realized halfway through E3 was a post-apocalyptic encounter, like a game themed within the post-apocalypse.
There were a lot of post-apocalyptic games this year. Like it was kind of depressing almost.
It seems like it's becoming the new brown shooter.
Yeah.
For settings.
Is like the world is dead.
Yeah, the world is dead, and then bad people do stuff. So you can you're allowed to murder people without feeling bad, I guess.
I don't think Yoko Taro would appreciate that sentence.
What, robots aren't?
Anyway,
David
So,
Cage.
oh god, no. We're not talking about David
We're
Cage.
not talking about that.
We're not talking about David Cage. um, okay, so the first game that we're going to talk, I can't believe this is actually the first game, is a game that,
Game,
yeah,
quote unquote.
we have no actual evidence this game exists. This might be the single worst announcement I've ever seen of a game at E3, or at the very least at an EA conference, and that would be Star Wars: Jedi: Fallen Order.
Yeah. As the guy said, the only real info we have on this game is that there's going to be Jedi, and there's a title, and we don't have a logo.
Yeah, they didn't even have a logo. If you didn't watch EA, if you didn't watch EA, basically during the middle of the show, the host was suddenly in the seats. By the way, the seats at that event looked really uncomfortable. But she was in the seats with Vince Zampella, who one of the creators of Call of Duty. He now is the head of Respawn Entertainment, and we have known for a while now that they are making a Star Wars game. And I was expecting to see it. And basically the host just asked him, hey, are you guys making a Star Wars game? And he said, oh yeah, I'm super excited because we have a title. And he said the title of the game. And that was it. And it was like they didn't even... They could have just brought him out on stage or something, or just quickly whipped up a title graphic. Like
a
what?
Comic Sans like font under like Star Wars would have been better than just sitting there.
Yeah,
no, actually, that's probably emblematic of Star Wars. You know, just sit in your chair and just tell people what it is and what to do.
Oh no.
I can't. Kind of works thematically when you're in the productions of Star Wars.
Well, I mean, what's that kind of really lazy attitude is what's gotten EA into hot water with Star Wars in the first place, I think.
Oh yeah.
So, you know,
they'll like it, I guess.
Yeah, just they'll love it. He said the word Jedi, so they'll love it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, that's not good because I know they had a guy come out and basically say, "We're sorry about Battlefront. Please keep playing it." But this was like you could have gotten a quick pop with this, and they didn't.
Them saying sorry about Battlefront and then confirming Geonosis comes hot off the tails of like a leaked like internal thing.
Oh yeah.
Where they said that they're gonna wind down, I guess, on Battlefront's like development.
Yeah.
So as like the president said, they're gonna be taking a deep. Oh, by the way, I guess we're moving to Battlefront.
We're not talking about Battlefront that much, but you know, go ahead.
Yeah. We're taking a deep dive into the Clone Wars, and it just kind of seems like Geonosis is probably, I don't know. Geonosis will probably be it. Maybe like another planet, but that's it.
I think
there's not going to be as much content as like say they originally had planned for.
Well, that's people already know that much because the Han Solo season that they're doing now, I don't think it has as much going for it as was promised. But Geonosis
a lot of things aren't going for Han Solo.
Yes, maybe that's just the curse of young Solo. But either way, I think that the game is going to have like maybe a year's worth of new content, but as soon as that year is done, they're going to immediately stop. And I don't know if there will be a Battlefront 3. If there is going to be one, they should really take a while and like think about what to do because it's not working. I mean, that much I can say about Star Wars as a whole. I think Star Wars needs a break, and that unfortunately extends to the Battlefront series as well.
It's time for the Jedi to end, as Luke said.
Yeah.
In
the hit film,
the famous 5 out of 10 that is The Last Jedi.
We're not reviewing movies on this channel, but
I know.
That's how we feel.
Anyways, I guess on to a more positive note. On the very unpositive EA conference.
Yeah. This is one
Sea of Solitude.
Yeah. This is the next like indie game that they're basically producing, and we didn't, we got a trailer. I wouldn't say the trailer was quite as like wow as the A Way Out trailer was. That was definitely a more unique kind of presentation.
It was like to me it was definitely like one of the first like interesting games of E3.
Yeah.
Like I think the setting and the ideas behind it are cool. Like becoming a monster based off of like a character's like kind of like loneliness and emotional status is like a really cool idea, and it seems
Mm,
like they're gonna go for horror elements.
maybe.
At least I feel it kind of felt like that in a few
It
ways.
has that like dark fairy tale kind of premise, and that could be neat.
Yeah,
And it looks like it's going to be a cinematic platformer. I'm hoping that it's like a good cinematic platformer, and that it's not like
it's not like that other game that kind of reminds people of it where
Inside. You think of
no. It was a game. Sorry, I don't know the name of it. But you were on a boat and you had to
oh
like you had to cure
yeah
like I guess like either like a little brother or like a son of something, and you did it via like climbing and platforming.
yeah
It was more walking sim than game.
I heard
But,
that that's all you did was you had a boat and then you climbed up a tower and you just like I heard there wasn't really any challenge. I could be wrong,
yeah.
but yeah I remember that.
At least from Sea of Solitude's trailer, we can at least see there are like some kind of threat to the player.
Yeah,
Like there is like there seems to be some kind of challenge. It's not just gonna be
you know the
as much of like a story kind of game.
Yeah, so that could be neat, and I mean, it certainly looks different from Unravel, and Unravel is also kind of a cinematic platformer, so it looks different, and that's good. And yeah, I think that and Unravel too. Those are really the only games that we were like, oh, this looks nifty. Everything
Yeah.
else was not.
Unravel is they did the thing where like, hey, it's out now, which is cool.
Yes, yeah, that's always neat.
Um, Obviously because it's E3, no one is kind of playing it because it's E3. So it's kind of a double-edged sword where it's like, yeah, it's here, but then like you kind of get drowned out afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes for them.
Yeah,
Because
we'll
they,
probably hear more impressions about Unraveled as time goes on.
yeah,
Maybe like weeks.
but it's also an indie game, so like they don't really need to. Like that's a pretty big marketing boost. I would say just by saying this game is out now.
Oh yeah, their day one sales
Yeah.
are like probably like way more than what they would have ever been.
So I think it's a decent strategy for that kind of a game. Um, okay, unfortunately.
Speaking of strategy,
Oh God! Speaking of strategy,
oh
thi-
my god,
this was really frustrating, man.
was it painful for you?
I don't know about painful because while I am familiar with the Command and Conquer series. I used to play them when I was a kid. I wouldn't really say that I'm like still a fan or like I don't really remember them that well. But it was one of those things where when they showed the game, I immediately realized what it was, and I was getting angry because I was getting angry more because the presentation of Command and Conquer Rivals
Oh yeah,
was so long. It was like
it was way too long.
yeah, it was a full match, which felt really long, and also we didn't know what the game was. And I'm just sitting there going, "Oh my god, this is a Command and Conquer phone game that looks almost like a MOBA."
And remember, phone games like they're supposed to be like kind of time wasters, but they're not supposed to be like that long. Like
Yeah,
so, even like design wise, it's just kind of seems a little misguided.
yeah. And to frame it as an esport, also, I haven't
Oh, yeah.
played it. I know some people have played this
Mobile
game,
esports.
but I truly can't imagine that. Like you're gonna sit there and tell me that the arena in Fire Emblem Heroes is an esport material, element.
No.
I wouldn't. So I don't really see that happening for Command and Conquer. I mean, I think if they truly believed in it, it would be an actual Command and Conquer game, but it's not.
Well, here's the thing: the alpha's out. It's on Android. Obviously, neither of us have played it because why?
No.
So I guess the question I guess that you, the viewer, might know or
Might
there
have.
or possibly collaborate with us on is what the hell are the monetizations
Ooh.
this game is, and like what does it do to the gameplay? Because if they're trying to frame this as an esports thing and it's a phone game, which phone games usually require money to be good at.
Yeah, I don't think this is a pay to buy. Like, you definitely can play this for free, so there have
Yeah.
to be microtransactions. So,
Well, it is still, I guess, pre-alpha, so they might not even be in yet.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
But yeah.
this is like, ugh. That was really a bad. I mean, there weren't even any phone games at the Nintendo conference. And I kind of thought that they might have one or two, and they didn't. So this is like to see that there
There'll
was
probably be over time, maybe during the treehouse. They'll have a
maybe
phone
during
game.
the stream of the treehouse, but that would make more sense. Like this was like on a stage, and they brought out like some StarCraft 2 players, and we were supposed to care. and it was
Oh yeah, yeah.
it was
What were their names? Uh,
In Control and Nick at Night.
yeah, Nick at Night.
Okay, wow, I can't believe I remember that.
Good job. I watched it twice and I didn't even remember. Uh, yeah, I'm a weird person. I watch most of these conferences
You
twice.
watched that one twice? I mean, I can.
I like to do it just to, I guess, remember and maybe
Okay.
get others. Like, you watch your favorite streamer watch it and you get
Oh,
their
okay.
input from it while you get your own input.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, speaking of getting input from fans, let's talk about BioWare.
Oh boy.
And we're talking about
Biggity boy.
BioWare's newest game, Anthem, which I mean,
Destiny.
yeah, I mean, the big elephant is that, and I realized this last year, but it's been really funny to see people who didn't realize it last year realize it now. This is basically going to be their attempt at a Destiny type game, and there's nothing inherently wrong with that. But the problem is that Destiny can't even really seem to sustain itself. So when you look at a Destiny competitor, they have to be like, shit, what do we need to make sure that this is actually going to be a game people are going to play for more than a month. And BioWare doesn't really make games like this, so I feel like they may not have the experience to pull it off in a way.
It would suck for this game because the gameplay itself, it's the grindy shooter thing, but it seems a bit more like interesting simply because of the way movement works.
Yeah, if this wasn't a Destiny game, I would probably be really interested in it.
It would suck for it to come out and then just be really like not anything, like how Destiny and Destiny 2 was. Like, look at all this stuff, and then you kind of play it for like 10 hours and you're done with it already.
Yeah, and we should note that I believe as far as, it's possible the game could get delayed, but this and the Division 2 come out within a month of each other. So they're
fighting.
So they're already competing with another game that is kind of similar. So I don't know about this. This game is a big deal, but it's only a big deal because if this doesn't work, then by all accounts, BioWare's over.
Oh yeah.
That's the problem.
Either way you look at it, BioWare's kind of done either way because if this succeeds, they're stuck on this for maybe 5 or 10 years.
Yeah.
If it doesn't succeed, then Big Daddy EA is coming down and giving BioWare the good old slap.
Yeah, and I mean it would suck, but as I've said before, they haven't really made good games in a while, so sometimes things just have to stop. And it's just kind of a shame that this is where things are. But
it will be nice to see, after I guess once BioWare shuts down, you'll see little Kickstarter games that go from one of the producers / writers of Mass Effect brings you this game you can donate to. Kind of like how what happened to the Bioshock team.
Yeah, I mean,
which
it sucks to see people lose their jobs and all, but I no longer really if the company's not making you money, then the company shouldn't exist anymore. And I mean, EA is notorious for shutting companies down, but
remember, EA's hands are always in the pot in these kind of situations. So it's hard to blame the developer for this because it's EA's influence that always takes over the company in a way. We've seen it with multiple studios from them.
Well, I agree with that in regards to Anthem. I do think that Anthem is a game that is being made mostly because they're like, this is what'll sell, not because it's a game that BioWare fans want to see. But remember Dead Space and Dead Space 1? This is pretty good. Dead Space 2, yeah, that's pretty good, and they added a throwaway multiplayer, so it didn't really affect the story. But then Dead Space 3 was microtransactions and also co-op story because fuck being afraid, I guess. Visceral didn't have BioWare and maybe some other companies in EA, they have strong leadership. They have someone who can kind of effectively, communicate with the publisher, and I don't think Visceral had that. And so I think that's why that series just really quickly had big problems, and I think that there was actual executive meddling, at least for Dead Space 3.
Yeah.
But I don't agree with that for every single game,
Oh,
but that's one where
well,
I
I
do
mean,
think, yeah,
even Anthem, you've heard reports of like they
yeah,
had to redo their whole microtransaction system because they were forcing boxes in there.
yeah. I mean,
That's
well,
not a thing anymore
yeah,
because of Battlefront 2, but
yeah, but
you can feel the meddling, I guess.
microtransaction stuff, I don't think that EA would really, or rather, I don't think BioWare would even really be in charge of that. That's up to the publisher to begin with, I think.
It is up to the publisher, but obviously the publisher shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, but it's EA. I mean,
Oh.
that's a
And
that's a mistake that they've made, and I don't know if they're
EA
going to learn
is
from it.
EA.
So it's bleh.
So out of this one, the only really game that we were that in my opinion that I digged at EA was Sea of Solitude. So
Yeah, yeah.
EA is pretty low. It wasn't great.
I don't.
They
Yeah,
talked-
yeah. They didn't show
they
Battlefield
talked
that
about how
much.
they-
That was one thing that they could have done. They could have shown Battlefield and like shown us something of substance, and they didn't.
Oh, we can
There's
put that in the next conference actually.
So that was an issue that I had was Battlefield 5. I actually would have really enjoyed to see like a full match of that, and we didn't. So that was kind of disappointing. Although I'm sure there's gameplay
Command and
out
Conquer
there.
Rivals.
Yeah, exactly.
After that,
Don't show us Command and Conquer Rivals. Show us some Battlefield. That would have made a lot more sense.
also remember everyone, no matter what EA tries to feed you about them being like, oh, we're sorry we had put loot boxes in Battlefront and we're course correcting. Remember, FIFA Ultimate Teams and Madden Ultimate Team still exist and they're still loot boxes.
Yeah.
So if you think they're trying to backpedal, they're not.
Oh, I don't think that at all.
They're
but,
still 100% against. They're still against you.
yeah.
Don't support an EA game with microtransactions.
I think
That's all I can
it's
really say.
with Battlefront. It's certainly gotten ridiculous. So I'd be very cautious about it for Battlefield 5, especially because there is a battle royale mode. So you know that.
Well,
they're-
they did say that it was going to be cosmetic only. But remember, even cosmetics is like really cosmetic microtransactions. Is that really like the bar where we want to hit now? Do we really wanna make
Unfortunately, it
so-
is. I like to call that the Overwatch bar because you can tell, like, if someone's like, I don't think that microtransactions are good, but then you ask about like Overwatch loot box, they're like, well, I mean that's okay. I feel like that's like a bar that some
Even in
people
Overwatch,
can't.
I don't like it. I don't like
Oh,
having
no.
to not being able to unlock the limited time skin that forces you to buy boxes.
No, I mean I've literally watched people like get stressed out because of that, and I hate it, and it makes me feel rotten.
Because you just dropped like $60, and if you don't get anything out of
God.
it, then what? Like
It's disgusting, man, and there's no excuse.
it's hit me too with like a mobile game here and there. And
At least mobile games are free.
Yeah.
Like you paid for this game.
free, quote unquote.
Well, you know what I mean. I mean, you don't have to spend with a mobile game. I mean, I think that mobile games should be, regulated. So hopefully, Command and Conquer Rivals is. But at least with the mobile game, most of the time, at least I only play mobile games where I do feel like I'm in control of what I'm doing. I think we will now move on. Speaking of greed, we're gonna move on to the Microsoft.
Well, not greed. No, not greed, because these boys have been humbled after after that very awful E3 from years and years ago, where they tried to do the whole online DRM with the console.
Yeah.
You can still feel that this generation they've been hurting just from an E3. An E3 can kill a console.
Yeah,
And that's kind of what this is. This is the death of the Xbox One, but it's also kind of the end of, I guess, a bad period for Microsoft in a way, or at least an attempt at an end.
They're trying to claw their way out of it, and from what I'm seeing from a lot of people out there, they seem to think this was one of the best conferences. What do you think of that?
I think it definitely had a lot of good in it, more good than bad.
Okay.
It's definitely It's definitely probably one of the tops. I feel it's probably equal to Sony maybe, just because of the things I'm interested in and the things that were shown.
Well, my question to you is: do you think that, the things you liked, were they things that Microsoft has anything to do with?
No, a bunch of
exactly.
them aren't really exclusives, or if not, I'll probably just grab it on my PC. But The fact that Microsoft, I don't know, goes out of their way to show you stuff and give you a good show, it's better than what some of the other people decided to do.
Yes, I agree with you. However, I must state that it was too long. Even though I did like that we got some third party stuff, it was too long, and I was getting really restless after an hour. Like I just was losing it, and
There were its down times.
yeah. So I do think that it was way too long, but at least we got some decent stuff out of it, as opposed to like last year. I found it pretty boring. This was there were nice things about it, but they didn't have anything to do with Xbox. Like we started the show with the Halo Infinite teaser, and that was I really expected Halo to be there, but I found that an underwhelming
I mean,
show because there was
it
nothing.
was just, hey, Halo's still alive.
But even the Halo
You're not
5,
getting any gameplay,
yeah.
no real story information, nothing much. Just kind of what looks to be an in-engine shot of Marines driving by.
Although
It's nice to see Halo is still alive and not just done.
I do have one thing to say about that though.
Yeah.
When I was first seeing it, I was like, this looks exactly like Halo 1. And I think that is kind of emblematic of what I feel is Halo's biggest problem. I think that the reason Halo has kind of fallen by the wayside for a lot of people is that they haven't really done anything to earn a new audience. Going back to Star Wars, it feels like every Halo game is marketed at me when I was, in high school or middle school, it was 2004. Like it feels like they are still trying to appeal to people who played Halos like 1 through 3 and nothing else. Because this trailer, it looked all, Halo 1 graphics and stuff, but nothing new.
I'm kind of glad they're going back. Like, even though it's nothing new, I'm glad they're finally getting off the Halo 5 art style, which was not a good art style. I really didn't like how any of the character designs looked in that game. So it's nice to see them go back to something that looks, nice and not really, really very unsaturated dark green.
Well, we'll see. We'll see, because we still haven't seen gameplay, so I can't really...
Yeah, we still haven't seen gameplay, but as far as announcements go, it's at least nice to have Halo.
It was a good it was an okay tease, but I was really surprised at how I thought there'd be a little more, because that just seems to make sense. I like seeing more.
More is always good.
Yeah, so we have that. We're going to talk about... Well, I guess we'll get this out of the way, because I don't actually remember the order for this game. But, Crackdown 3. This is kind of the elephant in the room here. Is Crackdown 3 was announced in 2014, and going into this conference, they were like, it's coming out, man. It's coming out in spring.
Yeah.
And Amazon said it's getting delayed to 2019, and they said, that's not true. It's coming out, we promise. And then Kotaku published an article where they had inside sources confirming they're lying, and then they had to sheepishly admit that they were lying. And Crackdown 3 getting delayed means that they have very little games. They might not have any actual exclusive games coming out in 2018. I'm not really sure.
I guess we'll kind of look and realize over while we looked at this.
But going into the show, they didn't have any games coming out in 2018. I think
I see one that they have down the line, but I guess getting to Crackdown itself.
Yeah.
This game and its development has been a mess.
Yeah, it's been kind of smashed between 3 different companies
from the first trailer where they announced it, that was, we're using cloud computing so that you have to always be online, but with this technology we can create dynamic breakable buildings. That whole explanation kind of reeked of this game's not coming out.
Well, I think I almost feel like that's the only reason the game was being developed in the first place, was they were like, we have this technology and we need a game to use it. But
so much time. They were pushing the cloud hard.
Yeah, so much time has passed. I mean, Microsoft has had quite a few failed technology ventures over the last few years, and the
What was that
HoloLens.
altered? Yeah, HoloLens.
HoloLens, the reason Casey Hudson came back to BioWare was because Microsoft had nothing for him to do. He left to work on that thing, and that's gone.
Yeah.
So,
Remember the Conquer reboot for HoloLens?
oh god.
Oh.
Well, yeah, I mean, so Crackdown 3, from watching it, it looked kind of like Saints Row, and
Yeah.
Just Cause. That's what it looked like, and so I guess
Very much the vibe they're going for
Yeah.
is let's just take like the fun parts of Crackdown 1 and just forget about Crackdown 2 and just make it fun.
Yeah, I mean, it can be fun, but it's been one of those games that, I mean, they said in an interview recently that they delayed Crackdown 3 because, quote, we wanted it to sit up there with Gears and Halo. And I kind of laughed at that. Like, I don't think Crackdown has ever been held in that regard.
On a game that was sold on the fact that it had Halo 3 multiplayer as a beta.
Oh, yeah.
When you bought the game.
The Zone of the Enders effect.
Pretty much. It's like
yeah.
this game kind of came from... It doesn't really deserve its kind of acclaim at this point. Like, all in all, it's a good game, but it wasn't great.
Was it good enough that you want to wait until 2019 for the third game? Like,
no.
That it's like it's like Kingdom Hearts at this point.
Well, remember, Crackdown 2 came out, and it was just they just reused the map from 1, and that there was new like horde battles, and it wasn't fun, and like the sequel sucked. So it's like,
yeah, I don't even know if the company that made the original was involved in this.
It's hard to be excited. The only cool thing they have really going for it is Terry as the main character, or as a character.
No disrespect to Terry Crews, but I feel he's being exploited.
Oh yeah, no, they're taking that Tim and Eric directed commercial and like pushing it to the max with this.
Yeah, it feels like that. I mean, I'd rather see a Terry Crews game than a Rick and Morty game, but we're getting both, so
Yeah.
if
that Rick and Morty's for later.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it wasn't technically Rick and Morty, but whatever. So yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about Crackdown, but it's been put into this status where it's like become this huge game for them, but I don't think it was ever really meant to occupy that spot.
It is a game that should have headlined the Xbox One X, which, by the way, like they barely during the conference there wasn't really as much mention with enhanced with Xbox One X.
No, I think
that was kind of downplayed a bit.
Well, yeah, because I mean, there's no point. It doesn't matter. I mean, the state of exclusives has been pretty bad for a while now, and their management's fucking terrible because they've gotten like 4 games canceled. So. Yeah. It's a nightmare, and I thought that Crackdown 3 might have gotten canceled when I saw the Amazon listing. So,
scalebound, I guess.
Yeah, and so to me, that's the thing that really bugs me.
It was a sad week where I had to where I worked at my retail job, and we were still playing trailers for Scalebound like the week after it just got announced it was canceled.
Yeah,
that was a sad week. That was
it was.
Hey,
crazy.
Look at this! It looks great. Oh man, it sure does. It sure did.
Yeah, that one's really crazy, man. I don't know. That was. I mean, that just. I think that speaks to how poor the management at Xbox is, because I've read many stories. I read the whole article about Phantom Dust and how that fell apart, and
oh god, announcing Phantom Dust with a CG trailer that the own developers don't know about.
Yeah, not only did the developers not know about that trailer, but it didn't look anything like the game they were making. So they got problems, man, and I don't think we had that happen this year. I really hope Microsoft has learned their lesson, because I think it's perhaps the most important lesson. Second most important lesson that they need to learn.
Yeah.
So moving along, oh god, yeah, we got plenty to talk about here.
Moving on to, I guess, on a more positive note, we probably don't have much to say about it because I haven't played it. And I'm pretty sure you haven't played it either. But Ori 2 is coming in 2019. Unfortunately, it's not coming out in 2018. But whatever.
Yeah.
Looks great. The visuals are really good. It has like some new mechanics. Like I guess Ori has like a sword now, which is pretty cool. You're gonna be able to use like kind of an owl companion.
Yeah. As far as those really pretty cinematic platformers go, Ori is certainly probably the most pretty. That's
I
what
think
they're going for.
Ori's not even cinematic because it's heavily based on like
Well,
I guess
okay.
more precise platform. Like it's more of a like a Donkey Kong Country Returns or
It's
maybe even a
yeah.
Metroid. I
Yeah,
guess.
I guess it's just more that there is a lot more emphasis on the moment to moment visuals. So I kind of
Yeah.
look at it as it certainly has those influences. But it's
But
people like it, and
yeah.
it's
But
really it's an
like I said,
Xbox game.
we don't have much to say about because obviously we didn't play Ori one.
No.
But it's definitely like a game that you're interested. Definitely support it. It's definitely the kind of game that you kind of
Yeah.
want Microsoft to be making.
Yes,
So
it's kind of an indie, so it's good that they're doing something there.
yeah.
Um,
Um.
was that one of the companies that they said that they purchased, or am I mixing them up?
Uh. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think it was one of them.
I think it. I don't know. But anyways, since this is a sequel and it has number two, we're now moving on to the game that also has a number two in it.
Yeah.
So FromSoft's hot new game that got teased at Game Awards
Yep.
got announced and it got gameplay showed off of Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice.
Yeah. So I was not terribly impressed with the trailer itself, and there's two reasons for that. Number one,
Oh,
published by Activision,
oh God, that's the scariest part.
red flags.
Yeah.
Number two, it just I kept as I was watching it, I was like, if this could have just been Bloodborne 2. Like there wasn't anything in the trailer that made it actually look like it was different. And when I read interviews and reports about what the demo was like, I started to become a little more open to it.
Yeah.
Because it does sound like they pretty much stripped away the RPG elements. Like you don't really find items. Like most items that are in the game are key items. The weapon stuff is very different because you always have a katana, but you can upgrade your bionic arm to be your second weapon, and there are obviously different weapons you can have there.
So it's definitely more of a light RPG than like
Yeah,
their other games.
or maybe just a straight up action adventure game because there's no
Yeah.
stats, there's no builds. I actually think that that's what they should have done for Bloodborne. Like I think that those holdover elements from Dark Souls were kind of getting in the way. And
Oh, yeah, Bloodborne had very much a more simplified kind of stat pool
yeah, and I think
than
that
Dank.
yeah, and I think that's why when I saw the trailer, I was worried because I'm just like, I don't want them to keep making a Dark Souls-like game. So my hope is that it really is different, and we'll see more of it. And I'm hoping that it's not just those minor visuals that make me think of Bloodborne and Dark Souls, because I really love the first Dark Souls, but boy, did I get Dark Souls'd out. So
Well,
I want to play something different.
even in this trailer, like you can hear when the character dies, you hear the shink.
Yeah.
When the character is like kind of attacking, you could kind of hear the trick weapon noise.
Yes, the parry sound or the riposte sound from Bloodborne did play in the trailer, but that is a stock sound effect, so it might have just been an awkward coincidence.
Yeah, I assume that they probably have just a sound bank of like just stock stuff that they use
Yeah.
now.
And I guess the only other thing I noticed, well, the title Shadows Die Twice it refers to the fact that you don't go back to a checkpoint or the beginning of a level when you die. You can just respawn. Like the game doesn't actually stop.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the enemies, when you die, the enemies just kind of go back to wherever they were, and you can choose to come back to life. This is apparently tied to some kind of item. We don't really know, but yeah, you can respawn where you fall. I am kind of apprehensive about this because in some other games where you can do this, I find that it makes death meaningless.
Well,
So I hope that
I'd say
it
if
means
like say
something.
during a boss fight, because I know MMOs kind of do this, when you die, the boss's health just gets refilled completely. And
Yeah.
you just have to try again.
Yeah.
Like I hope it's not like you die. Oh, let me just pop my revive item, and then like the boss is almost dead already. And you
Right.
just kind of win.
Yeah, I'm glad that there's an item at all, because I immediately had like Bioshock Infinite flashbacks where like any difficulty that game did have is destroyed by the fact that you just keep coming back to life and the enemy health is like not really that affected. So I hope they can figure this out, but part of me is a little worried that like this mechanic existed mostly just so they could prove to Dark Souls fans that this isn't meant to be as hard as Dark Souls. Like, I can't think of any other reason to have a mechanic like this, but I'll have to
Yeah.
see it in action, really. Also, the other big change, there's no online at all.
Ooh, that's
So
neat.
so the Activision concerns maybe not so founded, you know?
Well, the worry with Activision is that that is what the worry was, and what happened with Platinum, where they
Oh
didn't give them
yeah.
they didn't give them enough budget. They rushed the games out, and then they sold the games for a higher price than what was originally intended, aka Transformers and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like
Yeah.
Turtles nearly killed Platinum, like in
Yeah.
conjunction with like Scalebound, but Activision is a blood-sucking fucking beast that I'm really worried
I
that
was
FromSoft
just
is working
yeah,
with.
I was really surprised that it was them. I really could have sworn that they would continue to work with Namco or Sony. Like the fact that it's Activision is really weird to me, but the game will speak for itself, and I hope it's good, and I hope it's
Yeah,
different.
I hope it's good, and I hope they never work with Activision again.
Well, we'll see. Um,
Well,
so that.
because
Oh, what do you mean? You,
oh no, because I was I'm just thinking more Platinum parallels because Korra was great, and then
oh yeah.
shit hit the fan.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. We don't know. Um, what was next? Oh, they showed the thing of Metro, and it was real footage this time. Last year, I don't think the footage was real.
No, yeah, that footage was like CG as fuck.
So
Like
this
that footage.
this was real. There hasn't been a Metro game in a while, so I mean, I guess it's neat that they're coming back. A lot of people like it. I haven't played too much of them, yeah, definitely. Last year in the trailer, I remember there's the point where he goes outside and he takes out the map. And I know people were like, is that actually something you can do, or are they just using this as a shorthand to establish that the world is bigger? And I
Yeah,
didn't really get a sense of that from the trailer. Like I couldn't really tell if it necessarily has an open world.
I mean, it wouldn't be bad if it had an open world, but it wouldn't like I don't know.
Well, there's
The
like
Metro games have always kind of had like these
you go
like
through
level.
tunnels and then you come up to the surface, and like that was a part of it. So the open world would really have to be built around that. I think for them to get it
Yeah,
right. So who knows? Um,
maybe as
T-
long as you can. I'd say maybe it'll be as open world like the bleh, bleh, God of War was.
the the new God of War.
Yeah, or it was like yeah, there's an open world, but just do the story, you know.
Okay, maybe. Um, okay. Sea of Thieves is on here for some reason.
Uh, well, I mean, I guess we could say
Let's talk
Sea
about.
of Thieves continues to be a thing that existed. It is getting two expansions, one in July and one in September. It's good that it's getting content, but not really too interested.
No, I mean that game. I was shocked when it actually came out, and it was as barren as it appears to be. I was shocked, but at
Yeah.
the same time, not that surprised. I guess it's good that they're putting something in the game, but there was another pirate-themed game at E3 this year that I thought looked a lot better. So, not really any reason to care about Sea of Thieves from my perspective.
Yeah, no. But
They need people to keep playing it.
yeah.
Obviously.
But I guess for anybody out there who enjoyed it, here's some stuff for you.
Yeah, play it. Play the new content, and then decide if you actually enjoyed the game without that new
Hopefully
content.
you won't be as bored as how bored we were when we were watching Forza Horizon 4.
Oh, yeah.
Because boy oh boy was the pacing like really bad for that segment.
That was pretty
Because
long. They had people come out and sit at tables and pretend to play on the Xbox, but it was very clear that they weren't playing because there were lots of cuts in the trailer that they were playing.
yeah,
Like, what? That didn't make any sense.
it's I mean, here's the thing. Forza is a game that speaks for itself. What's Forza? It's a simulation racing game. Okay, fine. Okay, yeah, Forza. I'll get Forza because I'm a Forza fan. I'm just speaking hypothetically. I don't like Forza. I'm a Forza fan, and I'm gonna buy the new Forza game because it has Forza on the box.
Yeah, it's
But
like
you don't need to have it be about like 15 to 20 minutes of your press conference.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that is often brought up when talking about Electronic Arts, because they often dedicate a good amount of time to the sports games when it isn't necessarily needed, because nothing really changes, and we know they're coming out.
Yeah, because these conferences are more for I guess more the base like hardcore kind of video game players. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess it's more like Forza has a more hardcore audience than casual, but At this point, it's just I get it. It's there's one of their pillars, their big 3 or 4 or
Yeah,
5 pillar games. It's just
it doesn't.
eh.
The people who are fans of Forza aren't necessarily watching E3 to see Forza. That's kind of the problem.
Yeah. The
Um,
one thing that did look neat,
yeah.
I guess, was the hovercraft. That was neat. I mean,
No, was that in Forza or was that in the crew?
that was Forza. The
Oh,
crew.
okay, I can't
I would
remember.
remember. I wouldn't remember if it was in the crew.
Okay, yeah, I guess that might have been. Ugh. I guess that might have been in Forza. Whatever. Okay, next game.
Oh boy! So
Yeah,
next game.
you want to talk about
Oh
this
my
one?
god, this game. So Devil May Cry 5
It's real.
got. It's a real game. It's a real boy. And oh my god, does this game look amazing? Capcom, like I'm just gonna say this right now. I think Capcom pretty much won.
The one
If
E3.
if your name is not if we're not counting Nintendo, Capcom like pretty much has like some of my favorite stuff shown this year.
I guess that's kind of true because there were some good pops from the Capcom trailers they had.
Like every time the Capcom logo showed up, it was a good thing.
Because it was never
It
a
was
fighting
never
game.
infinite.
There were no fighting games. That's why.
Yeah, no, their fighting game part is a mess, but their regular game part is like hitting it out of the park. So okay, so anyways, speed on DMC5. DMC5 is doing the good thing, the thing that we all kind of wanted, where it's actually sticking with the character that was supposed to be the torchbearer. You know how the whole passing of the torch thing, and then people just kind of stop passing the torch?
Yeah.
They kind of just give up halfway through. Like, Devil May Cry 5 is like, no. Nero is now the main character. You're just going to have to deal with that, okay?
Yeah, I don't even
Which
think
is
that
nice.
would be a problem, because, like, he's not... He's fine. It's like, whatever.
Yeah.
It's Devil May
He was
Cry.
never a bad character. Like, he just cried a few times. That was it.
No,
But-
I mean, I remember, I don't, it's been a long time since I played Devil May Cry 4, but that was one of the things that a lot of people I remember had criticisms with, was that when you finally got to play as Dante, it wasn't all that great.
Well, yeah, because Nero felt so much better.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was such a fun character.
The game was
and
built
you kind of
around
go back to
him.
DMC3 style, and you're like, okay.
And it didn't help that you go through levels backwards, right? You know?
Yeah, that was the part. That was the part that made DMC4 not as great. Was that you just went back.
You could tell it was rushed. You could tell that
Yeah.
they didn't
But-
actually finish the game.
It seems with 5, they're definitely going all in on it.
Yeah, it looked visually really cool. I
Yeah,
liked it.
visually, it looks great. It seems like they are changing up Nero's playstyle with the new robotic arm mechanic. Maybe you'll be able to upgrade it. Who knows?
Yeah,
But other than that, there are other confirmed playable characters. 3 to be to be factual.
yeah.
Obviously, you're gonna play as Nero, and you can play as Dante. I'm not sure who the third playable character is.
That's kind of
But-
like a vague one for now, right?
Yeah.
Or is that a new character? Maybe.
I think it's either a new character or it's gonna be Virgil. Like
Okay.
either or. We'll see what happens. But
Yeah. All I know is it's time for me to go and buy that 4-pack of all the DMCs. I want to get back into it. You know.
buy the 4-pack, play them. You'll just stomach 2 at some point.
Oh no, I've actually never played Devil May Cry 2, so that's the one I'm looking forward to playing the most.
Well, actually, there's a nice little reference here with the 5 trailer because since this game technically takes place after 2, I guess, in
Oh,
the
really?
timeline.
Okay.
Yeah. At the end of 2, Dante kind of like he kind of just rides off into hell or something with a motorcycle,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, that's the end of 2, and it was kind of a weird ending.
Yeah.
But in the trailer, Dante's riding back on a motorcycle into wherever the hell they are.
Yeah, so I mean it'll be good because that I never played 2 and I always heard it was bad and they always set the games before 2 because they knew. So I'm actually really excited to go back and play it because I want to see what was so bad about it.
Well, yeah.
You
Well,
know.
remember to at least play 1 up until the part where he gets to fill her dark soul with light.
Oh yeah, oh of course. So
Yeah.
that'll be fun because Devil May Cry. I mean, Kamiya, he's been doing his thing. Bayonetta, he's like, why don't you idiots make something to compete with this? And they didn't really. I mean, I guess they
Yeah.
tried because there was DMC Devil May Cry, but that is down the memory hole. That is
Oh yeah.
gone.
Notice how when they talked about the new DMC, there was like there hasn't been a new DMC game for 10 years. And it's like, oh,
Well,
DMC,
it
you
just
guys
didn't
got
work.
thrown
I
down the
mean,
toilet.
people didn't even buy it. Like, if it had been successful, then that would have been Dante, and we would have probably gotten more sequels, but it wasn't, so...
It's definitely like the thing because when DMC Devil May Cry was getting like shown off and stuff, Ninja Theory, which like they're doing a lot better than, but back in the day when Ninja Theory was showing it off, they it felt like a slap in the face whenever they tried to talk about the game.
It felt like they
they
were embarrassed by the fact that they were making a Devil May Cry game, and
yeah,
in a way...
like every time like it felt like they were talking down to the fans of the original game, and it's like, why are you talking down to your fan base? Like, it was probably
Yeah.
the wrong way to go, and it's good that they're finally course correcting.
Yeah, I mean, they're off... Well, now they're owned by Microsoft, so who knows what'll happen to them, but...
Yeah.
That was weird, man. That was so strange, because they spent the whole last year coasting off indie cred from Hellblade, and now they got bought by
Cuphead.
Microsoft. No, they didn't make Cuphead.
Well, it's Cuphead's exclusive to the Xbox.
No, Ninja Theory. I mean,
Oh, Ninja Theory.
Ninja Theory has been like, we're doing this indie game, and it's supposed to have a serious message or whatever.
Indie AAA.
And then they got bought, and they're saying in interviews, they're like, well, we did it. We got purchased by a AAA company so we could escape the AAA cycle. That doesn't sound right. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. But if they think it's in their best interest, then it's in their best interest. But
Yeah, it's better to have food on the table than not. So I don't fault them.
it makes me wonder if Hellblade wasn't actually that successful, because they claimed
Oh
that
no, it was.
they claimed that it was, but I think if they had been able to make a good profit off of it, they wouldn't have tried to get
Well,
bought.
here's the thing: when Microsoft comes to you and says, "Hey, we'll buy you," that you don't say no. You don't.
Well,
It's Microsoft. You are fine. You're going to be financially stable for a long time. Well, as long
maybe as long as they
Maybe.
don't get laid off.
they're going to be pretty stable for a while. They're going to
Yeah.
have a job, and it's nice. It's nice to have job security in the game industry, which is very hard to
Yes,
come by.
that I suppose that's true.
So I don't fault them at all for it.
It was just interesting. It was very unexpected.
Yeah.
So speaking of, another company that Microsoft announced that they purchased was the company that is making We Happy Few, a game that is not actually out yet and has been in various stages of development, from Kickstarter to Gearbox published to now being...
Yeah.
I mean, Microsoft is not necessarily
history of
involved
this
with the
game.
game, but this game has definitely had some interesting development history, and it's going to come out fairly soon. I haven't really been excited, because when I finally saw gameplay, I was like,
Yeah.
So who knows? But it's definitely very Bioshocky in a lot of ways.
Which is good, because that's kind of what I wanted from it.
Well, it's pretty clear that they definitely took influence from things that Bioshock probably took influence from. There, you can definitely see the parallels there as far as being dystopian.
It's only with like the Kickstarter of this game, it was running off that trend of survival games. Like way back in like 2000, like what, 4 or 5.
Well, that's what I find odd, is that like the premise is so much more interesting than a simple survival game. So to think that they were like, oh, we have to add a story to this game now, and by the way, because we're adding a story, the game's going to be $60. That surprised me, because I was like, you guys weren't doing that? Because the trailer that they had been showing for years was all story content.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I also noticed they did announce it's coming on August 10th.
Yeah.
But is it only for Xbox or is it for both?
it's coming out on everything.
Okay.
They got bought by Microsoft recently, but because Gearbox is publishing it, that shouldn't matter.
Okay, so then they don't have
That would be really pissy. If people would get really pissed off if like you pre-ordered it for PS4 and they had to cancel it, that would be really bad.
Yeah. No,
So they're not doing that.
Okay, yeah, that's fine then. But,
So,
yeah, the game looks more interesting than what it ever was, but
I'm probably
whether or not
not
it's
gonna,
good is the question.
I don't know. I'm gonna wait. I'm probably gonna pay attention to the reviews for it, but I don't necessarily know if I'm gonna get it. Because I don't know, man. I'm very Kickstarter
Very
stuff, man.
definitely watch out for this game. Don't immediately buy it. Wait for a review to come out.
Yeah,
Because Gearbox, I don't know if they still do review copies, but
yeah. I don't know.
just wait.
I
Just
would
wait on
hope
it.
so.
Wait and hear about it from from
Yeah,
like people you trust. Like I guess like content creators you like, and just wait on that.
yeah,
Don't go head first into We Have Your Few.
yeah. Especially since it is now a full price game.
Yeah, it's no longer 30.
Speaking of things,
We don't have a segue for this session. Oh,
session. Oh, I don't know anything about this other than what they showed, which is that it's a goddamn skateboarding game in 2018.
god damn it! And that's what we needed. Like before this E3 started, I said to my old pal Rocco, I was like, you know what we need? We need a skateboarding game. We need like a Tony Hawk or a Skate or whatever. We need something. And biggie
Yeah,
bam boom, here it is.
I was really surprised. Yeah, you kind of predicted that one in a way.
Yeah,
Um,
and I'm very happy it exists. I'm interested in seeing more gameplay of this, but obviously the only thing that was shown is that it seems to be kind of a down-to-earth style skateboarding game, very similar to Skate.
yeah,
So
more realistic.
yeah, which is like fine, even though I still want an arcadey skateboarding game, but obviously, since we're in the modern day of like console games, we can't really go arcadey with sports games anymore. Which
Well, you're good. You've got your Tony Hawk Online.
oh yeah, Thug Pro. If anybody knows what Thug Pro is, hey, you should play it. It's really fun, and you get to play like nearly every map from the old Tony Hawk games.
It's good
It has
stuff.
online multiplayer. It's good stuff. Try it out. It's a mod for Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. And so if you can track down a copy of that, then I'd recommend that if you're itching for more Tony Hawk.
Speaking of itching,
Okay.
let's talk about the game that
So-
almost made me
so-
vomit.
In this list, so we have a list, right? We have this one in red letters
Yeah,
because the reaction this gave us was like it was jaw-dropping how bad it was. This was possibly the worst like way you could start with your I guess trilogy of like games you announced here.
yeah. I mean, I will state that seeing 3 Gears games get announced was neat. It was
Yeah.
It was neat, even though I'm not really a Gears of War fan.
But starting with the Gears logo.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the Gears logo. Wow. And then Chainsaw. Okay. And then a fucking pop figure
Yeah. No offense
pops out
to
of
you.
the hole.
No offense to you if you like pop figures, but I hate pop figures, man. I don't
Yeah,
like them.
we are not fans of pop figures. Sorry, but
They make me
they-
angry.
the
they make
design aesthetic is very not our speed.
If you like
Um,
collecting figures, you should collect real figures and not pops. All right, you give pops to like a kid for his birthday or something.
Yeah.
Um,
Baby's first collectible.
Yeah. So Gears of War pops. I mean, that's to me that's the big problem is that they make pops of everything. So when you see a pop figure that is,
Well,
a goddamn mature rated game, it's like really.
it's like it's weird because the pop kind of oddly expanded into hey, we make like shorts, we make like little movies now, we make T-shirts with pop figures of popular culture characters. It's like now they're making a video game, and it's like it's Gears of War, and it's on
Yeah,
phones.
Gears of
It's-
War phone game. So this is the second phone game. I think this is actually the only other phone game that we have on our list, and I don't know, man. Maybe I don't know if there are other pop phone games. Like maybe this is a thing they've done for a while, but I was like I couldn't believe it. I was shocked.
Yeah.
But-
It's not the game could be good. It's just the art style and the reaction it gave us.
Yeah.
Like it was like it was the what are they doing? They're blowing it like
Yeah.
kind of reaction.
I would have predicted a Halo pop before a Gears of War pop game, but whatever.
Yeah.
I mean the other two things.
Fun fact. They were making there's a prototype out there of a Halo Mega Bloks game, which is
Oh,
pretty
really?
funny. Yeah,
Wow.
you can find it on YouTube. So if anybody's interested in that, check that out. It's pretty neat.
Well, speaking of prototypes, The next game that they talked about was Gears of War Tactics, which, the reason this game is notable is because back when the Kinect was a thing for the 360, there actually was a team trying to make an end war-esque strategy game using the Kinect and Gears of War. And that's basically what this is. This looked like the
really?
This looked like the rebooted version of that game, except it's obviously it looks a lot more like XCOM now. I don't necessarily know if it will play like XCOM, but it would be very easy for them to just rip off XCOM with the Gears of War. I know
it's
that
not
much.
a bad idea. I mean, Rabbids did it.
Rabbids took a lot of influence from XCOM. That game was pretty fun, but I don't think that Gears of War would be that different. Like, I'm having trouble thinking of what Gears could do to be different from XCOM.
I guess stopping power could be a thing. Movement, like, stuff.
I don't know.
Melee combat, I don't know.
There too many. They could try some stuff. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that audience will even like it. The Xbox audience, I'm not sure that they have the patience for this. They didn't have the patience for Halo Wars too. So,
like, it's not a bad idea. It's just kind of like oddly derivative.
It's a little weird, but I didn't think it was bad or anything. It was just kind of surprising. And then there was Gears of War 5, which I'm not a Gears fan, but all I'll say about it is that was the kind of demonstration. Was it a very substantive demonstration? Not really, but that was the kind of demonstration I was hoping to see from Halo, because it was just like, here's some stuff.
Story, here's gameplay. Yeah, Gears lives.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's reaching Shambling Corpse status, but
yeah, it's still active, so
it's still there. But I mean, like, I kind of stopped at Gears 3 because obviously a lot of people did because the story ended.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really feel like doing a Force Awakens thing with Gears. So, but I mean, if you want to keep going with the Gears story and learn about this person, Marcus's son and his friend, then by all means go for it. But it's definitely like a thing that is like, I felt like it was a done story. For me at least.
Gears of War 3 is one of the few video games that I've played that I actually can't remember anything that happened in it.
Well, they beat the bad guys, and then Anya put her hand on Marcus' shoulder, and then through that contact,
they had a
their
kid?
son was born. Yeah, they had a kid through just that. It was magical.
Okay.
It was beautiful. Carmine didn't die, and then like the world.
Carmine didn't die because they sold money on virtual T-shirts. I do remember that.
And I will say I was kind of a young man back then, and I may or may not have bought something with Microsoft points that had let Carmine live. So, I was more invested back then. I was but a boy. Don't blame my naivete.
Well,
dude, I was all in on Avatar.
You were, you were a young punk doing stuff with your Xbox avatars. Speaking of punks,
let's
talk about the final game that was shown, although it was really just a pre-rendered trailer with no gameplay.
Yeah.
Now,
I was really hoping for gameplay.
Yeah, this is a game that I've been pretty excited about this for several years because I really like cyberpunk things, and I am.
Oh yeah, it's always fun.
I'm starved for RPGs with futuristic stuff. I really like Deus Ex, so I've been like, oh, this could be great. And I have heard that CD Projekt Red is doing a closed door demo that you can watch, and that could be uploaded to YouTube at a later date, I'm hoping.
Yeah.
But it really would have been... It would have been nice to see some of it here, in a trailer. But
I'm going to assume wait on Gamescom for this.
Oh, yeah.
For gameplay.
I'm really curious.
Since they are a foreign developer.
Yeah. I liked the trailer. It had a lot of really interesting visuals in it. So there's some very grim, darkly humorous stuff in it. But it was,
Oh, yeah.
Really the only obstacle, and I might get some shit from this for people, but...
Controversial statement coming in.
This isn't really controversial.
That game okay.
But I've played all 3 of the Witcher games, and I just can't bring myself to complete them, which is very rare for me. I play them, I like them, but then for no particular reason, I get to a point where I just kind of give up, and I
They're
don't.
really long.
Yeah, so it's like I like them, but I
And
can't commit
if
to
you're
them.
into like grim fantasy, I guess that's cool.
Like I got really close to beating Witcher 2, and then I put it down, and I never went back to it, and
Jeez.
I don't know why. So, you
I mean,
know,
it happens.
I don't know. I mean, I
Just
like
play Soul
them.
Calibur 6, I guess.
Yeah,
That'll be fine.
he's in
The
that,
Witcher.
so I'll be good. But that's kind of my issue here is that I'm hoping that that doesn't happen with this game, and that depends mostly on how it plays. But
I feel like the setting is definitely going to carry this a lot more than Witcher.
oh yeah, I mean, The Witcher
Like-
definitely has some unique stuff as far as fantasy, but it is still ultimately one of many fantasy games. There are not enough sci-fi games, in my opinion, these days.
Sci-fi cyberpunk is even rarer.
Yeah, like this
Like-
stuff's great. I mean, you've seen the influence of a lot of that stuff. Like a lot of games have little bits and pieces of cyberpunk style stuff, but they never
Like-
fully commit.
To all you cyberpunks out there fighting against fighting against the man
Yeah.
every day, this game is for you.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to seeing it, and like I really want to enjoy the game, but we, unfortunately, did not see it as of now, and I'm hoping that that changes. It's been in development in one form or another for a while now, so I'm hoping it doesn't take too long to come out, but who knows? Who knows? But that's it for Microsoft. I think Microsoft, I mean, they had the most games that we had on the list because they had 2 hours worth of games. So it was long, and it was okay, but it wasn't really okay. The Microsoft stuff wasn't the stuff that I was interested in, personally.
Yeah, the games that they brought were more interesting than the games that they're making, which tends to be like a thing with Microsoft, unfortunately. But the games that they did show, like that they did bring, definitely like interested me and was very
Well,
nice to
this
see.
this was good because like last year it was like Phil Spencer basically got on the floor and wasn't breathing. Like it was like Xbox has nothing. We don't know what to do. And
Dragon Ball Z here.
and and this was like, guys, we're actually committed to making more stuff. So I was like, okay, they acknowledged that they were in a bad place for a couple of years, and hopefully they can turn it around.
If this wasn't as like okay, like kind of like the 8 or 7 out of 10 that it is of a conference, we would definitely have a different like story.
Oh yeah,
Like, definitely. Like this was definitely a make or break moment, and they definitely made it. So
Yeah.
good on them for not having a horrible E3 and then ruining the Xbox brand.
yes,
So,
yeah, good job.
So they narrowly escaped disaster. Good for them.
Yeah, I think that's a good summation. Speaking of disaster, let's talk about.
Hey, no, this isn't disaster. This is a party, and the party's gonna start, and I want a party.
I can't believe that, man. That was
So-
that was so
okay,
long.
okay.
We're
In the beginning, before E3, a game got leaked by Walmart Canada, and this game was called Rage 2.
yes.
And Rage 2 is it's a sequel to the original Rage, which not a lot of people remember, because it was just kind of like a brown Mad Max game where you
Yeah.
threw a boomerang at people.
Rage was supposed to be id Software's next big thing, and it was basically a complete failure. And it kind of threw the company for a loop for a little while, but that company has since made a comeback with Doom. And now there was something shown when they were showing the game that did reassure me a little, because my first reaction when this news was leaked was that, why would they make a Rage 2? That game wasn't successful. Do they really think enough people care?
Yeah, they're definitely going for like a rebrand. Like
Yes. Well, not all.
you can tell with like the live action trailers that this is they're definitely going for a more marketable game. Like
It's very,
you can
very Mad
tell-
Max. Like, really
Yeah.
Mad Max. So...
You can tell like either the random person who like who's kind of into video games but not really into like the really in-depth like news like industry stuff that like we talk about
Yeah.
are definitely gonna see like this like the poster for it at like a GameStop or a Best Buy and be like, ooh, I'll buy that. you know, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
it's definitely like a game where the marketing seems a little more important than the game is, because when they showed the game itself, it seemed a little, I don't know, the way the tone was in the game seemed a little bit different to the marketing that was being
Oh
shown.
yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that. Um,
Yeah, like it was a lot more kind of like a serious, like post-apocalyptic thing,
yeah, it didn't seem
and
that
then
crazy, and then you had Andrew WK fucking singing his ass off on stage,
yeah,
while
that
industry people
was
don't really know what to do.
if if you're looking for like cringy moments, this is definitely the conference for you.
Yeah,
Um,
that was up there. I think that, well, the game didn't really look bad, but at the same time, I feel like it kind of just looked like Fallout with vehicles, although the combat, there's definitely some different stuff going on there. Certainly, it looks like it has better combat than Fallout 4. And then the only other thing, the thing that kind of reassured me, because I was like, id can't waste time making this, was that they if so one thing that I don't remember if this was stated at the actual show or if it was after, but id is working on this with Avalanche, so like they're not shouldering the burden entirely by themselves. It's kind of a
yeah,
joint project, and
they have bigger and better things to
Avalanche has experience with open world and stuff like that, so that's good. But I think that Rage 2 will appeal to people who kind of like Borderlands, or they're just looking for a dime a dozen open world shooting game. But yeah, I didn't really see anything that stood out about it.
do. It is another post-apocalyptic shooter in a wave of post-apocalyptic shooters,
Yeah, and the post apocalypse was just the Mad Max post apocalypse, so you
which
know.
which honestly makes it a little more interesting. Most of the post-apocalyptic
Well,
stuff.
yeah, in a way, but at the same time, it also just kind of it looks like it's just stealing a style. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
which isn't a bad thing. I mean, most games are
Oh
based off
yeah,
of stealing styles.
yeah, I agree. It's just funny to see it still happening.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a Mad Max movie a couple years ago, so that's kind of why it feels funny.
I mean, I guess now would be the time to do it since Mad Max movie did come out.
Yeah. So yeah, still talking about id. We have Doom, the sequel to Doom,
Yep.
but not the original Doom. The sequel to the Doom reboot
Reboot.
is announced. It is called Doom Eternal. There was no gameplay, but hey, it looks like
It
Doom.
exists and it looks like Doom, which is great. I am happy that I'm very happy it exists. The first Doom was great. I did play it. I think I got like maybe like three-fourths of the way through, but it was very good. So I'm happy
Yeah,
that they're doing another one.
yeah.
I'm happy that it's called Doom Eternal and not Doom 2.
That would have been the worst. I mean,
Yeah.
Hitman is making this mistake because the new Hitman game is Hitman 2. I mean, granted, there has never been a game called Hitman 2, but there was a second Hitman game, so this is annoying.
So there are other things you can see, like there are yeah, okay, just a preference. Definitely not gonna remember a lot of the older Doom enemies, but you can see
Oh
some
yeah,
of the older ones. Like I think it's called the Revenant, the one that sets you on fire. Um, so they are bringing back other stuff, which is good. It's always good to look back onto to the older things and then just bring them into the new age.
yeah. It can be very fun to see stuff that was like 2D, brought into a 3D world. It's always cool, especially when you're trying to do justice to it. So
Yeah.
that stuff's fun. Um, so I don't really have much more to say about this. I've actually not played the new Doom.
Yeah. If you're interested in Doom,
It's on
I
my
guess
list.
to you and the audience, if you're interested in Doom, play it. It's fun. I'd say maybe like it's probably discounted out there. It's a little old now, so give it a
Yeah.
shot.
Do you think that this Doom will get a Switch port?
I doubt it. They're
Okay.
probably gonna go for a higher fidelity with this one.
Maybe, but they seem like they were very efficient with the Doom port that they did. So who knows?
Even that port's pretty good. It's not perfect, but
I
it's
mean,
better.
you can tell that it's a down res, but it still looked pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Um.
I don't know if I have anything else to say about that really.
Yeah. Other than that, there is another id game that id classic reboot game that showed up.
Well, it's not actually making them anymore.
They're not making it,
Yeah.
but it's still a reboot of an old id game.
Well, because Wolfenstein is no longer an id. It's I think it's called Machine. Is the company that makes them.
Yeah, but you understand what I mean? That
Yeah.
they made Wolfenstein.
Yeah, I mean it's funny that both series have kind of come back and around the same time.
But yeah, Wolfenstein Youngblood, which unfortunately is not Wolfenstein 3, because
Well,
I guess
yeah, it's
the thing.
it's what they did last time, where Wolfenstein New Order had a DLC called The Old Blood,
Yeah.
and it was a standalone DLC. So this is, I think that's what Youngblood is, but
Yeah.
they
it
didn't
seems
really,
like the same
they didn't, they tried to make it seem more like it was its own thing, even though I'm hoping it's not $60.
Oh god. It'll probably be cheaper on like the PlayStation Store or Xbox, wherever you get your games.
Yeah, what was interesting about it was that they said it's set in the 80s, which I believe is 20 years after Wolfenstein 2. So, like, there's a time jump, and so that will probably
It'll be the
important.
lead into 3. I assume.
Yeah, and then the only other thing was that it's BJ's daughters are the main characters, so I have to wonder if it is a co-op game, which could be pretty fun.
That's actually something I didn't think about.
That feels like something they should have confirmed, like, and they didn't. So I don't know, because I mean, we didn't really see the main characters, so you know, we don't know if they have like different play styles or whatever. I mean, that could be neat because that's kind of what they did with Dishonored too, I think. But
yeah, but I guess in the end, the fact that this is the stepping stone to 3, which is fine, because the only reason I'm excited for 3 is because the developers themselves did say that at the end of 3 you're gonna fight Mecha Hitler, and that's gonna be amazing. Not gonna be amazing, but it's gonna be really cool.
Mecha Hitler in 3D is going to be an iconic moment in games. I'm calling it right now.
Calling it right now.
They're gonna write books about Mecha Hitler. All right.
That's the thing. I wanted this to be 3 because I wanted to fight Mecha Hitler, because they did confirm that they were gonna put Hitler in 3.
Dude, they better.
Obviously.
If they don't, if they were like, can you imagine if Wolfenstein games were being made by people who were like Ninja Theory, and they were like, you know, Mecha Hitler, that's a little too high, lowbrow, you know, that's a little gauche.
Yeah, right.
Let's just, maybe you and Hitler can just, you know, agree to not fight each other. Like
what's out?
If they were like, no, man, Mecha Hitler, I don't know, man. I don't think that can fly in today's audience.
Yeah, and what the.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I hope this succeeds so we can get 3. So.
Yeah.
Do it, Bethesda. Let me shoot his face off like it did in Bionic Commando.
Yeah, well, you know, we've had some fun talking about games Bethesda produces, but now we have to talk about a game Bethesda is actually making.
Hold on.
Oh.
Just before we talk about that one, because I know this is going to lead into a longer conversation about the games they make. Another quality Bethesda moment was when they showed off. What?
Oh, you're talking about the Prey DLC
Prey.
when she had the sticker and it fell off.
You wanted to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
The whole mimics thing in that, where the guy took the sticky note. There was a sticky note, and he said, "Not a mimic." Put it on the woman's shoulder, and then it kind of fell off halfway through.
That was amazing. That'll be in the cringe comps. That'll be good.
Yeah. But anyways, Prey is getting a DLC that is a roguelike DLC. That'll be neat, but the moment at E3 will definitely overshadow it.
Yeah. I mean, if you like Prey,
oh boy,
you know, congratulations, it's immortalized.
Yep.
So I guess
can't wait to hear from you, Kroby Cat.
Yeah. So speaking of Kroby Cat, we're about to enter the Todd Zone.
The Todd Zone.
This is this is the rest of Bethesda was Todd Zone, and
Todd time all the time, and he walked out like a goddamn WWE superstar.
He did. I was like, is that Vince McMahon coming up right there? like I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure what was happening at first.
Todd Howard is becoming too powerful. And he just
oh man, yeah. He look. I don't. You know, I'm sure he's a nice guy, but like. He's starting to become like Palpatine. Like it feels like that's his progression in life, where I used to be a big Bethesda fan, but the more of their games I play, I'm like, I don't know if I can deal with this anymore.
Yeah.
Because their
But
games don't
anyways,
age well. And that's where we were. We're Fallout 76.
well, before Fallout 76,
What was
we do
before
need
that?
we do need to pay some
Oh,
respect to
yeah.
a great I guess internet meme that died today or this day, which was the Skyrim on everything meme, which was so great. There
Yeah.
were so many
Oh,
good
yeah.
photoshops and everything.
Oh, yeah.
But of course, since it is now acknowledged by Bethesda, it is pretty much just done.
But Bethesda
Um,
did everything they could to make sure that the Skyrim meme is dead, and
Yeah.
that means it must have got to them.
It probably like
Todd.
honestly, actually, which is funny because I don't know if it's a full game or not. But you know that Alexa, they basically announced, "Hey, Skyrim's on Alexa and Samsung smart fridges." You can
Yeah,
actually get the Alexa one on the play. On
yeah,
the
that's
Amazon
real.
right now.
You actually
That's
can.
real. So it's probably not like a substantial experience, but
If you ever
it's
wanted to play it, I mean, we know someone who worked for a company that was trying to make games on the Alexa.
yeah.
So I don't. Maybe this is what they came up with. I don't know, but
Yeah,
here
they
we are.
obviously took a very similar pipeline from them, from what we heard.
Oh, really? Yeah.
We can't really. I guess we can't really say more. But
Yeah, we've just heard some things.
we heard some thingy things here and there.
Either
Now,
way, Todd
way,
Zone. We in the Todd Zone.
enough interruptions. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's
Um,
fine.
That was two in a row. Time for the new Fallout.
Yes. Fallout 76, which was announced, leading up to this, and this was the big game. This was the tentpole of the presentation, and it is confirmed that this is an online Fallout game. It is not an MMO, but it is an online game. And I can't say that it looked bad, but it was one of those things where I was just like, this is not what I want. And I know a lot of people don't really want this from Fallout, because one thing that has stuck with me since watching it was the fact that I don't think we saw a single NPC who wasn't like a robot in like a cutscene area at the beginning. Like, we haven't seen any NPCs, and I almost wonder if there aren't any. Like,
I mean,
there just aren't NPCs, and
I feel like we'll see some, because you can't have a game without that. But that remains to be seen.
Well, that's kind of the issue, is that Todd did say that you can play the game solo, but we didn't really see anything in the footage. And we saw a lot of footage, but we didn't see anything that suggested that you could actually do that. If there is a story, we don't know what it is, because we didn't see anything even close to showing what that is. It's just you run around a really, really, really big world that kind of looked like a Fortnite map when they showed the top of it. And you just hang out with other players, and you can build stuff, or you can fight each other, or whatever.
And which is why, like, I can see the appeal of that. That does look like
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't. I don't think that's bad or anything, but Fallout isn't. That's not. That's not.
That's not why you're there.
Yeah.
But it'll be why other people are there. It's definitely not a main line.
Oh no.
It's definitely
Yeah, and
it's definitely an interesting spin-off idea.
Yeah, it's certainly fine as a spin-off, but I feel like this just kind of contributes to Bethesda's unwillingness to like make a Fallout game that is a real Fallout game, because it feels like, especially with Fallout 4,
I mean,
Fallout is just about shooting things in the face and nuclear weapons exploding. Like any of the role playing, it's not really there.
well, 4's role-playing was very...
Ironically, this game could have better role playing because there's no NPCs, and thus you don't have to make those kinds of story decisions. But I don't know. This could be fun, but at the same time, I have to wonder, what do you like? What do you actually do? I mean,
I hope they bring back the traditional mechanics from like 3 and
oh
Vegas.
no. I wouldn't be surprised if those are dumbed down even more, to be honest.
So?
Yeah, because it's an online game now, so like you can't spend too much time fiddling around in the menus.
I guess so.
So it's really hard to say how this is going to do. It's coming out in October. I don't anticipate a delay because it's Bethesda.
Yeah. This is one of those. This is the usual Bethesda game that they announce and that immediately comes out a few months later.
Yeah. So, the good news about this is that there will be an open beta.
Yep,
So
that'll be interesting to try out.
you will get to see what this game actually is like, and I think that's going to be important.
Yeah, there'll definitely be a make or break moment for a lot of
Yeah.
people.
So, yeah. Also, one thing I will compliment: lots of fun-looking monster enemies in the game.
Yep.
The kind of thing that was missing from Fallout 4, in my opinion, was interesting-looking new enemies, and they seem to have a lot of those in this game. So,
So that's good.
that was nice, but that's about it. I can't really think of anything else to say, other than I can't wait for the Creation Club with 76.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
We don't talk about the Creation Club.
So we only have one real game left to talk about, which is the phone game.
Well, yeah. So the phone game, it's a phone game. It's a phone adaptation of Elder Scrolls Blades.
Yeah.
It seems like, I don't know. It's like kind of roguelike-ish. You go through certain things to get
Yeah.
to level up your character and stuff. We don't know how the monetization is going to work. Apparently, there's a beta coming at some point.
Yeah. Also to clarify, this is it's a phone game, but it is a phone game that's going to be on everything, kind of like
Yeah.
Fallout Shelter. So I don't know. I mean, it's not a real Elder Scrolls game, obviously at all, but it's something to hold people over. And I don't know. Fallout Shelter was fun for like a week, and then it just got really really boring. So. This could be more exciting because like the content is more legit. Like it is not just tapping on things and waiting.
Yeah, I feel this will probably have about like lifespan of like an Infinity Blade, where you play it for like a little while and then you stop.
Yeah, I mean it depends on how much new stuff they're going to keep adding or whatever.
Yeah. Cause I know mobile games live and die on story content or doing events constantly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So I don't know. I don't know how that's going to go.
So other than that, we have two other reveals. We have a reveal for the main game that Bethesda is currently working on, which is their sci-fi RPG Starfield.
Yes, well, this has been talked about in various leaks for a good while now. So when it was actually announced, I was surprised that the name of it was actually Starfield, because I thought that was just going to be a code name.
Yeah.
But here it is. I like sci-fi. I always root for more sci-fi games, but I got burned with Bethesda, so I don't know. And obviously, no one can make a judgment because we didn't see anything. We just
This will
know
definitely be a
it
game
exists.
to wait for gameplay.
Yeah, I'm very curious about it, but Bethesda, just to me, their reputation is so. I'm done playing. I'm done playing really buggy games. Like I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it anymore. So, yeah, man, I agree with that sneeze.
Thank you.
That's how high quality we are, man. We don't care about where we're recording.
We are in here, and we are here to talk about, I guess, the next game that that they showed a logo of. I want to preface this.
Yeah.
This game is not coming out for a long time. It is going to be maybe 5 or 6 years, or even 7 years before this game is even shown.
I would say it'll come out in 7 years.
7 years it'll probably come out. But stop. Anybody who's excited for this, I just need you to stop and just forget it exists for a long time, because this game is not coming for a while, and this game is Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah, they didn't even say where it takes place. Like there was no subtitle or anything.
A single hint, and it is the little building that they show in the CG-ish world trailer.
Yeah, like there wasn't enough to give you a good sense of anything. So that to me was just like, yeah, I know. I know you want to tease it, but yeah, I know Bethesda's expanding because they now have 3 main offices, but like that doesn't mean that Elder Scrolls 6 is going to come out that quickly. Like I know how this company works. I don't think that's going to happen.
So yeah, I say definitely temper your excitement, because
just calm down.
don't get like angry like people did when Resident Evil 2 remake wasn't being shown for 2 years, because this game's not going to be shown for even longer.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is some you can sometimes tease a game, but it depends on how consistently you do it. And with this, I feel like we're not going to see anything for a while. So I
Yeah.
don't know if it was the right call to even show this yet. But that's just my opinion, and that's about it. Bethesda. I feel that this was the most apathetic conference. uh,
Yeah, it was like the traditional like third party conference.
yeah, like I don't. I
You get your
just.
moments. You get
I
you get like some stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, like they could have just done it as a video presentation. Like I don't think this needed to be on stage. Honestly,
Well, where would Andrew WK sleep for the night?
how about you just don't bring out Andrew WK? How about,
No, he needs to do stuff like he needs to destroy, build, destroy, and he needs to party and do all of his good
God.
stuff.
Um.
Um, no offense to Andrew WK.
Oh yeah, no,
He's a guy. He's probably a good guy.
no, nothing against him. Speaking
It's
of,
just weird to see a music guy at this video game conference.
oh no,
Are we moving on?
well, I'll just say I enjoyed Andrew WK more than the other two, more than two other music acts that happened later. But we will move on. We will
We'll
move
move
on.
on, and we will move. Actually, hold on. Final thoughts for. Oh yeah,
We just did that.
real professionalism.
Oh god.
We move on to what am gonna dub as a Nintendo Direct, but extremely disappointing.
This was like a non-conference.
Yeah.
Because Square Enix does not always do conferences. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. While I
Yeah.
applaud them for making it a pre-recorded video, because it would have been a huge waste to do it on a stage, I don't think they had enough stuff to even justify that. And I believe that came down to two factors. Number one, too much of what was shown here was also shown at the Xbox, Nintendo, and PlayStation conferences. So there was really no reason to replay
Yeah.
the same trailers.
Well, not Nintendo. Not Nintendo.
Well,
This was-
one of them was at Nintendo.
yeah.
But my point is that too much of what they had was already slated to be at other events, so it didn't matter. And number
Some of them were
two,
just re-showing stuff.
yeah,
that was at
the Kingdom Hearts trailer was identical. It was the same one they showed at Xbox.
They showed a
And-
Nier
and
trailer,
Nier.
which was
That was also at
was
Xbox.
literally the same video file.
Yeah. So that
But
was an issue.
anyways, I guess we'll start. We'll probably skip over Nier and we'll probably skip over Kingdom Hearts 3 because. You know what? Actually, no, we didn't talk about. Well, no, actually, you know what? No,
Well-
we're gonna wait to talk about Kingdom Hearts 3 when we hit Sony.
Why?
Is that Sony too?
I don't care.
It'll-
Let's just
it'll
talk
be
about
the
it now.
ti-
This is Square.
Alright. It'll be the time to talk about it because
No, it won't.
Alright, fine.
Sony's got. We're good. Like this is not going to take very long. All right.
yeah.
Shadow of the Tomb
what do,
Raider.
what do you mean? It's Kingdom Hearts, of course.
We're
it's
talking about
Kingdom Hearts.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
All right, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. It's another Tomb Raider game where the Tomb Raider is still not the Tomb Raider.
Yeah, they even said that. They were like, we're showing how she's finally becoming the Tomb Raider. It's like,
Even though what were the last games?
can't she just be the Tomb Raider? Like, the Tomb Raider is not a mythical thing.
Listen, no,
like,
Tomb Raider. Listen, Lara Croft needs to either get beaten up or she needs to have like some weird parental daddy issues before she becomes a Tomb Raider because she's a strong female character that is not really written that well. I'm just gonna say I'm not a fan of these games. I'm not a fan about how the way they treat how the way Lara's character is treated. It seems like they kind of took her and molded her into this kind of generic, non charismatic thing which she used to be.
yeah, I mean,
She's just kind of this awkward, weird breathing woman with a bow that every game with a female protagonist has now.
yeah, I was never really a fan of the old Tomb Raider games or anything, but like, I found the reboot. It's not a bad game or anything like that, but I definitely found the level of shit that Lara Croft went through in that game was it was really uncomfortable. I've seen worse in other games, to be fair. Like, I've seen worse, but like this was it just made me feel gross.
Here's and this is not like a thing to any of the developers. It's just a general feeling that we may have towards it that is probably not true. And it's probably not the intention at all, but it kind of felt fetishy.
I don't want to agree with that, but
Like
I know
it,
what you're
the
getting
the
at.
amount of ways she gets hurt and beat up, it just kind of it felt like there were points where she was just getting beat up for the sake of being beat up.
Well, yeah, I
Like
mean,
at the
I don't know,
E3 with
man.
the second Tomb Raider game, there's just a point where she's climbing up a thing, and then oh no, sort of avalanche, and it's like oh no, Laura, brace, and then she bashes her head really hard against the mountain. It feels weird, and including like weird developer comments of like from the first game where it's like, oh, you're not supposed to be like I guess play as Laura. You're supposed to want to protect Laura, and it's like,
Oh yeah, yeah,
what?
yeah. That was creepy. I didn't like that
These
comment.
games, there's something weird.
I mean, they are written by a woman. Like you know that, right?
They are
Yeah.
well, okay,
Granted,
but
you
it
know.
still feels. I don't know.
Well, no, I
There's
mean
something
that's
about
not an excuse. I'm just saying, like, a woman does write. It's the same woman. It's Rihanna Pratchett, and she wrote the first Mirror's Edge as well. I don't really know if she's done any other video games. I think she's Terry Pratchett's daughter. And yeah, I don't know. I haven't. I'm not really a huge fan of the new Tomb Raider games. I feel like it's Uncharted with none of the fun, basically. And I think that the fun is part of what people like about this thing. And
They should have made her more charismatic. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean,
One of her
it's
character
one.
traits
You know, it shouldn't take a trilogy for her to become
Tomb Raider.
like it's not. You know, imagine 3 movies before Batman becomes Batman. That's really pushing it. So I don't know. I mean, the game is probably going to be fine. I wasn't particularly impressed with the gameplay demo because it wasn't very interesting. There wasn't really a set piece or anything in it. It was just press Y to stab.
Well, they are going on the extra mile with the murder stuff in this game.
Yeah, I think
Seems like that's what they're going for.
maybe. Really, the only thing that I have to say about this is that I'm pretty sure by now it's been confirmed that Crystal Dynamics is working on this game with Eidos Montreal. And
okay.
I don't like that because to me it just, you know, Deus Ex Mankind Divided was not a bad game, but from what I have heard, they either had trouble making it or the plans for the sequel fell apart due to weird management. And so Eidos is just becoming a subsidiary basically where they're helping because the plan that I've heard is they're going to work together to finish the Tomb Raider games, and then they're going to make a Marvel game. And we didn't see that Marvel game here, obviously, but it's been teased before. So,
well, the Tomb Raider's got to be at the end of its development.
Yeah, Tomb Raider's coming out pretty soon, so you know that'll be out there.
Oh god, I'm gonna get so much shit for the shit I.
No, I mean I don't. If you,
God,
no,
I'm sorry.
I'm not editing this out.
Oh fuck.
No,
But,
if you like Tomb Raider, we're not saying it's bad
sorry.
to.
That's all I can say to anybody who likes Tomb Raider.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sorry.
mean, no,
That's not
you're not trying to like objectify.
and you're
or
not
anything.
a bad. Hold on, you're not a bad person to play it.
No, no, I'm not.
I'm trying to cover my ass so hard right now.
You're fine. I mean, relax.
All right.
No, it's we don't. You know, I was definitely on board with the idea of rebooting Tomb Raider and even making it a little more serious, but I don't think that Tomb Raider has to become like gross torture porn, and I don't like that stuff. I'm not a huge fan of that in general. I got enough of it with Far Cry 3. That's the thing. These new Tomb Raider games kind of remind me of like Far Cry 3, and I got enough of it with that game.
Anyways, let's get off Tomb Raider. Let's talk about fucking.
Oh no, I don't want to.
Life is Strange, I guess.
So I don't really have anything to say about this.
This was another trailer that was shown at This was shown at Microsoft's conference. So this is the same trailer.
Yeah, this game. So this is a game that is coming out in a week. It is completely free, and it is called Captain Spirit. It is a game made by the Life is Strange team, but it is not. It's set in the Life is Strange universe. That's what they said, but it doesn't have any of the characters. They've said it does have some connections to upcoming Life is Strange content, but it's completely free, which is very strange. So this game is made at a loss. Like there's no.
Yeah.
They're not making any money off of this, and it's just about a kid who imagines things.
So it's the beginning of boss game.
Ooh, that would be nice.
That's
I don't
um.
know.
I
I don't like Life is Strange at all, so I have zero interest in this.
Well, it seems like, if it's Life is Strange but without the cringy teen dynamics, that'd be neat.
Well, maybe, but my other problem is that it's just like,
Hella neat, I
why isn't
guess.
this just a movie? Like this, I don't really feel like this is.
'Cause I don't know. Dotnod makes these games, I guess.
Well,
Maybe honestly, this could just be a game that's going to advertise the game in the Life is Strange. Like, maybe they're just trying to keep the franchise living while they work on their other.
no, well, I mean, they already did that because there was a Life is Strange prequel, which that was announced at Xbox last year, and then it came out. So
I don't think, but the problem is, I don't think too many people talked about that game at all.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know anyone who likes Life is Strange. I'm not the target audience for Life is Strange at all.
Yeah, neither. We're getting to be too old and crotchety for that stuff. I guess at this point in
No,
our lives.
I've also seen the movies that Life is Strange blatantly rips off, so I know what they're trying to do.
Oh,
And
what movie is a ripoff?
a couple.
Donnie Darko?
Donnie Darko, you got the butterfly effect. Like, not even movies that people remember, but like, I don't know. It's kind of like David Cage, where David Cage rips off things and he hopes you don't realize it.
You mean Blade Runner?
Well, I guess that's the latest thing he's ripping off, but I mean, there's quite a few throughout his history. Either way, okay, so the next game, that was a bad one. The next game that we have is the only new, actually no, okay, it's one of two, or maybe, yeah, one of two new games that was shown at this 30-minute presentation, which is Babylon's Fall, which is an upcoming Platinum Games game. It looks kind of like a fantasy game, but we didn't see any gameplay whatsoever.
No gameplay, which sucks because it's a Platinum game, and I like getting gameplay
Yeah,
with my Platinum
I would
game
not.
titles,
I would not be talking about this if it wasn't a Platinum game, because there was really nothing in the demonstration. It was just a trailer with no gameplay. But hey, Platinum and Square recently collaborated to put out something pretty good. So hey, this could be fun.
Platinum and Square working together, it's a good combination. So, I can't wait to see more about this.
Yeah,
that'll be
I'll
cool.
keep my ear to the ground on that.
And as we go through the conference, they re-showed the Nier Automata Become as God edition trailer. Like we said, definitely play this game when it comes out. It's worth it, pretty much every penny.
Yeah, it's good. It's real good.
It's real good. Remember to not stop playing after you get the first ending. Just keep playing.
Yeah, Square Enix tells you to keep playing, so you should listen to them in the
listen and just trust me. Trust me, it's amazing.
We think it's amazing, at least.
We think.
I can understand someone really not liking it, but whatever.
Like, a game has never hit me as hard than the latter parts of Nier Automata, probably. Like,
oh yeah, I mean, it's up there.
like though there's some scenes there's some tough stuff to get through. I've never, it really makes you care about the characters and play the game. Goddamn it, play Nier.
Yeah, play Nier. Hurry up.
Do it, please.
Anyway, what else? Quick trailer for Octopath Traveler, which is getting a demo and it's coming out really soon.
It's another Octopath trailer. We've seen this game forever.
I hope it's good. I mean, I've played the beta and I liked it, but I wasn't completely sold on it. So I'm hopeful that the demo is going to be better.
It seems like the demo is just the prologue, so it like what they tried to do with Yakuza 6.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll see, because I like a lot of ideas in it, but I just don't know that they're going to be executed in the best way possible. So, I don't know. Just Cause 4, they showed that trailer at the Microsoft thing as well, and that was really surprising. Like the fact that they're even making a fourth one.
Right.
I guess they sell well, but it's not a series that I know a couple people who
3 that much.
Yeah, I mean, 3 came out in 2015, I think, and I know a couple of people who really like Just Cause, but I don't know if they played the third one. Like, I know they liked it back, when it was first coming out. So, we don't really have anything. Have you played Just Cause?
No, all I know about it is that insane multiplayer mode from 2.
Yeah, and I have no idea if they still do that. Um,
Uh, no, that was a 1,000-player multiplayer.
oh, okay.
First.
Hey, Battle
They don't
Royale.
do that.
They,
No, don't add that. That doesn't count. It was just a fun sandbox multiplayer mode.
oh yeah.
What's
Okay.
next?
So the next
This
thing.
was a weird trailer.
So if you haven't seen the trailer for The Quiet Man, you might want to because it was really weird and really vague. Although I think they said that they're going to show the game more at Gamescom, but I don't even know who's making this game, and so that was annoying. Like the trailer was in live action for 75% of it, and we learned almost nothing. So like it could be anything. You know, I really can't say anything about it. I got excited briefly when I'm like, oh, it's turning into like a gameplay, but then
Maybe
then it
it's a
ended.
beat 'em up. I guess I don't know,
What if it's a sequel to The Bouncer?
dude. Oh, like that'd be so stupid, but so great. I'd be down. I'd be
Yeah.
100% down for that. Oh my god! Like you play as this regular quiet man, and then you just run into these anime characters.
That'd be awesome.
Oh, that'd be too good.
Yeah,
Literally.
literally.
Speaking of conflicting art styles,
Oh yeah. So
we're now talking about Kingdom Hearts, which had 3 trailers at 3 different conferences. This is the second time.
no, wasn't it just 2 trailers?
No, okay. Well, there was 1 trailer,
Yeah.
and then there was the same trailer was shown at this Square Enix.
Yeah.
And then they showed a 3rd trailer at PlayStation. So we're gonna encapsulate all of Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah,
here.
I had to watch like basically the same Kingdom Hearts footage like 3 times in 24 hours or like 48 hours. No,
It's
24.
a little much, but I know
Ugh.
they really want people to play this one.
Yeah, I know I'm gonna upset a lot of adults out there, but I'm not really a Kingdom Hearts fan, and I never have been, even when I was a kid and I was really into Final Fantasy X. I thought Kingdom Hearts was stupid.
Rocco, you are a fucking bastard.
If you like Kingdom Hearts,
I
have
will
fun.
at you so hard.
You know, I don't think they're bad games, but
No, they're definitely not bad games.
the
And I myself-
concept is just too ridiculous. I cannot. You are supposed to
Honestly-
take it seriously, and I can't. I just can't.
It's like definitely that ProZD video where it's like you gotta
Oh, yeah.
the darkness from the light.
The trailer that they showed, the trailer almost felt like a parody of a Kingdom Hearts trailer because people.
Well, that's the thing. You got look at all this Disney stuff. Cool. This is all pretty cool. And then all of a sudden, it's like the Organization 13 guys show up, and it's like dark, lightness, and the dark. I will.
and then Mickey Mouse
like-
is watching something edgy happen. Like seriously?
Yeah, it's too late, Mickey.
Yeah, I can't. Oh my god, I just can't. I can't
It's
do
such
it.
a weird thing, but honestly, I'm interested in trying the other Kingdom Hearts game in preparation for this game, just because honestly, this game looks really good. Like everything is on point. Like it looks like the Toy Story characters look like they're from Toy Story. When I was watching Frozen.
Oh yeah, no,
the cutscene with
visually,
Elsa, it looks just like the movie.
visually they have done a good
even
job.
Pirates looks great. Like,
Yeah, I think that the visuals are really on point, but unfortunately,
I'm-
Square Enix needs to do a lot more than just deliver visually.
I know, but even I don't know. Like it's probably because I'm gonna say we haven't played Kingdom Hearts. I'm gonna assume. we haven't played Kingdom
I've
Hearts.
played some of the first one.
Okay, well I haven't played Kingdom Hearts, and I'm very interested in trying it. I'm probably gonna borrow it from a friend and give it a shot. I'm interested. That's all I can really say about Kingdom Hearts 3.
The best thing that I can say is that Square Enix has done a good job of making sure that you can play all of the games still. You know, they redid them and added some stuff or whatever, so you can still play them all, which is good.
They did announce a bundle that includes every single game from the series on PS4 for like $100. Which is like, I guess that's fine for a discount.
It's probably
honestly
a good deal, actually. Now that I think about it.
But honestly, if you can go to Best Buy and probably just get all that right now.
Oh yeah.
In like a separate disc. But they also announced a PS4 Pro version. Cool. And I guess for I guess the nerdy collector side of me is gonna come out and say, they announced some figures for the collector's edition, and I know, but it's from their Big Arts line, which is really good, and they're based off their toy versions from Toy Story, which is so cool.
Yeah, that's a
That's
nice
really
idea.
cool.
That's probably. I mean, Square is really Square loves merchandising, so that seems like a very natural fit for them.
Oh yeah. Well, honestly, it's so funny because in the Toy Story area, when you're in like the shop for toys,
Yeah.
you go to a section you can find Final Fantasy like Play Arts Kai toys of like Bahamut, and you look at the price and it's like $170, which is like, oh my god,
Yeah.
that's so true.
Yeah.
But yeah, really interesting stuff going on with this game. I myself am interested.
Yeah, I mean it's neat to see it, but I don't know. I don't know if they can get it for me. I mean, so that was it. Like, this is the problem, is that was the whole thing. It was 30 minutes, and most of what was shown at other events. So the whole thing felt kind of like a waste of time.
Yeah,
And
this was a waste of a conference. There could have been so much more. There could have
yeah,
been like
that's the
if
big
this-
problem, is that
this conference could have gone from what it is like, it's like a 3 to like like an 8 or a 9 if they just showed the game that everyone wants to see right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem, is that that's kind of a double-edged sword for them, because if they show footage, if they showed
They
footage,
have to commit to it.
I would be.
Well, no, they
yeah,
don't actually, because they already didn't. commit
that's
to
what
it.
That's exactly what I mean. I know that if they had shown Final Fantasy VII Remake, I would be sitting here asking you if you think it's real footage, because they threw out 2 years, at least 2 years of work that was
Yeah.
being done on the game, which includes all of the previous footage that we've seen.
Well,
So,
I'm even questioning if they're doing the whole episodic thing they were originally
Yeah,
planning on doing.
I agree. Like,
That was a big controversy when that
Yeah.
got told.
I
Like, the day
think
after.
I think that Square's tendency to announce things way too early is severely biting them in the ass with this game, because no one realized how big of a commitment remaking Final Fantasy VII would be.
Well, they said multiple times that we're not ready to remake Final Fantasy VII. It'll be too big of a game for us to remake.
And I think
And
they did it because they knew fans would like it, but it's, oh man, this
Well,
is
they were in very dire straits back when they announced it. Like, I don't even think 15 was out at the time.
No, 15 wasn't out yet, and unfortunately for me, seeing Final Fantasy 15 doesn't really instill much confidence in this remake, to be honest.
Well, 15 definitely got better over time. It's definitely a way better game than
yeah,
it was.
I saw it when it came out, and I was like, "What the hell is this?"
Oh no, yeah, I played it when it came out. And I was really not into it.
So
maybe the added content will make it better, but I still need to, I don't know, give it another shot.
and yeah, that's the problem, is that with Final Fantasy VII, you do have a blueprint, so you can remake this game fairly easily if you adhere to the blueprint of the finished game as it was released in the 90s. But they don't want to do that, and making real-time combat for the whole game is going to be a huge undertaking, and I just don't know. I don't know. It's a lot of work to get it to the AAA standard of now.
Yeah.
I think that game remakes can be really interesting, and it can be a really interesting way to explore how something was done then and how to do it now.
Like a certain remake that got shown off and that we're going to talk about later.
Yes, exactly. Like, I think that you can do some really interesting stuff. I mean, actually, the previous remake in that series is also a very good example of this. But Final Fantasy VII, I don't know. I don't know if they can pull this off. And I'm not even a particularly big fan of Final Fantasy VII. I recognize that this is a big deal.
Yeah. At this point, I just kind of wish they did, like, the RE1 remake it, and they literally just did, here's nice graphics, here's the old game, fun.
Yeah.
Like, maybe remix a few areas, and then that's, like, they're really going above and beyond for this, and I understand why, but I really wish they just didn't.
I mean, I understand why they're going above and beyond. It's because they didn't clearly sit down and think about what it would entail to do this, and now they have to do it.
But I'm curious, like, because they threw out 2 years of work. Can they even recoup costs on this game, even if it's Final Fantasy VII?
Well, they said that they needed to make an insane amount of money to make a profit off Final Fantasy 15, and I have no idea if they actually did. I mean, I know the game sold very well, but like Square Enix might have some of the worst management in the Eastern world of game development because they've had these projects that go on forever and ever and ever, and that's a huge problem. Like that's
Yeah.
not good management. So they really need to figure this out and fix this because people are going to be really pissed if Final Fantasy VII Remake turns out to be the next game that takes forever. You know, like you should not have games that take this long.
Well, it is the next. It is the game that is taking forever now.
Yeah, and it's not good. Like I don't want Square to be a company that's known for like taking a decade to make games.
It's probably why they're contracting like using other devs they own to make like Tomb Raider and like the soon-to-be Avengers games.
Yeah, I mean that stuff's fine. I mean they're doing okay as far as publishing, but in-house, I don't know. I mean, the best decision that they've made was to let Yoko Taro do something, and
Yeah.
I mean I don't.
Hopefully they'll let him do another thing.
Yeah,
Really
because like I don't, you know, he doesn't seem like the kind of guy who would really agree with the guys in charge at Square on a lot of things. So I mean, I'm glad they let him make something that was good.
He'd probably just get drunk and just be like, whatever.
Yeah, so I mean, they're open to things that are different from what they deliver on, which is good. But that doesn't mean that the things they deliver on aren't, you know, like they gotta realize what they're doing. You know, I felt like this, like Square. I mean, when you think about it, Final Fantasy 13 was also a really huge commitment because they decided to make 3 of them.
That was like the biggest mistake.
So
Like they
Square's
could have stopped.
Square is obsessed with taking as long as possible to do stuff.
Unless it's Final Fantasy 13, I guess.
It's really fitting that Gordon Freeman is in Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah, it really is actually.
So, yeah, I can't think of anything else to say about Square unless you've got
Square-
something.
No.
Alright.
Actually, no. You know what? No. Final Fantasy 14, which is a MMO,
Oh
is
yeah,
getting a Monster Hunter collaboration where you get to fight a Rathlos, which is very cool. I think it's interesting that they're just allowing that to be a thing. But this kind of works in a two-way street because they also, this hasn't been shown yet because you know
it's got leaked.
E3 is still going on, but it got leaked. The trailer is out there. You can probably find it on Reddit. But basically, Monster Hunter is doing a collaboration with Square Enix to put Behemoth in Monster Hunter World, which is very interesting. It is probably one of the biggest monsters, other than like the final boss monster for Monster Hunter World.
Yeah,
I'm interested in how they're going to incorporate like all of his like moves from like say the other Final Fantasy games he was in. So yeah, and also I wonder like if they're gonna give us like Final Fantasy style weapons from this monster. Like, what if you can build like a Buster Sword for the Greatsword class? What if you can like, what if you can build a Gunblade for like the
ooh, maybe.
the Gunner class? I'm very interested in what they're gonna do with this monster.
Yeah,
So this will be fun. I'm gonna assume that this will probably come out. I don't know, maybe a month from now.
yeah, it's probably pretty soon.
It's probably soon because the monster is animated. It looks pretty done. So
All right,
all they have to really do is just put it through like certification, I assume.
all right,
Obviously, it'll probably be limited.
yeah.
All right, and
So that's
yeah.
it. All right.
Yeah, that's it.
So I guess we can move along. We're almost done here. We only got 2 left. We've got
Ubisoft.
Ubisoft.
So
I thought Ubisoft was one of the better conferences this year. They haven't always been, but
they definitely showed their stuff, but
it actually.
definitely none of these games are really for me.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. I think there's a couple of them that I'm interested in, but there were a lot of ones I didn't really care about. But I thought that it was a well-paced conference. Like when it was over, I was like, oh, well, that felt really fast, even though it was 90 minutes. So like, I never hit a point where I was like, ugh, show me something cool, because I was interested in watching pretty much everything they showed. Doesn't mean I'm gonna buy everything they showed, but you know, it was okay. They did all right.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
There were only 2 downgrades. If we're going by the famous,
Okay. So I guess
if we're going by the
explain
famous,
this idea you have.
well, it's not my idea. There's a video called Ubisoft Downgrades, and it is a video that compares the way that many Ubisoft games are shown at E3 and in videos before they come out, and then what those same moments look like in the final game. And there have been many famous instances where the game had a pretty big visual downgrade. And, it's really awkward, so I hope it's something they're aware of. I don't know if that's the case, but I think it only happened twice. There were only maybe 2 points where I was like, this will probably not look this good when it comes out. And I caveat, one of my favorite games was a big victim of the Ubisoft downgrade, which was Rainbow Six Siege. When they first showed Rainbow Six Siege, that was like, no, that was fake as fuck. I mean, it wasn't completely fake, but like
a lot of things are fake about that.
A lot of things about it are not the way they play out in the game. Some of that is because the game was undergoing a lot of changes late in development. They said it was
alpha gameplay. So
and I've watched footage of the alpha, and like I can see the similarities. So like, okay, this actually was in the alpha. This was fake at the time. But the thing is that the game changed so much after the alphas that footage is like really inaccurate to what it's like to play the game.
Well, I can understand them taking out a few things like the hostage talking and stuff like that. Obviously,
I didn't mind that part too much. A lot of people fixated on that, but that wasn't really a problem.
Taking that out was a smart decision because it definitely like fixes like, some balance stuff.
Yeah.
Like, because if you have the hostage talking, they're gonna find your position immediately.
Yeah. So but that's the other. Yeah, it's very, like, it's weird. That's a famous downgrade, but that's, like, mostly we're talking about, like, visuals. And hopefully we didn't have much of that this time around. So, we're going to start talking about the first thing they showed, I think. Whatever, it's the first thing.
Yeah.
It's the first thing I wrote down, which was Beyond Good and Evil 2. They showed a little bit of pre-alpha gameplay, but they mostly just showed a CG trailer.
Well, what's interesting about this is that they have a ton of pre-alpha gameplay out there, just because they've been just showing it off, like in like blogs and stuff like that. So if you want to see more of this game and how it's progressing, you can like go on a website and just see it.
Yeah, like I'm not entirely sure. I like this game. Like, I really like the look of it, but I'm really curious. Like, what is this actually going to be? And I'm still can't really believe that it's actually a sequel to Beyond Good and Evil 2.
It's not.
Well, it's a prequel. It's a prequel. Yeah. But, I was like, the thing, though, is that I assumed that it was a prequel just so they didn't have to acknowledge the plot, which, in my opinion, is a good idea, because the plot of the original is really not that good.
Well, it seems they're acknowledging they're starting to acknowledge the plot now.
Yeah, no, that's the thing, is that, like, Jade was in the trailer, and, like, okay, so this game is just going to kind of be an origin for, I guess, how they met. And that's fine. I mean, I don't even think that's going to be the main plot, but it'll be neat to have that, I guess. But yeah, like, I've said it before, I like sci-fi games, and this is like a French sci-fi game. Like, this is a very European-looking, like, you can see, like, the Fifth Element and Valerian and, like, other influences in it. And so I think it looks neat, but we haven't seen enough of the game itself for me to really get excited about it. It's like we're almost there. We're almost at a point where I could get excited.
The game is still too early. It's still too early to show too much of it.
I'm glad that they're doing this. Like, this looks really different from the other things they've done, so I'm glad. But it's not quite there for me, but I think it's close. This is a close one.
Yeah.
So that, that's that game. And then they showed the Trials game. I've not played much of Trials. I did like what they were talking about, though, because they made a point of talking about how, like, a lot of people who are fans of Trials and are in the community were involved in the development in some way. Like, there's a guy who runs a YouTube channel that he started the channel basically as, like, explaining, like, how to get good at the controls and stuff and how it works. And they hired him to write all of the tutorial content for the game. So I thought that
Nice.
was really interesting. And they talk about that. This is actually like a running theme because this game they talk about how lots of people in the community they hired them to help with the map design and stuff like that. But with Beyond Good and Evil 2, they also mention how they're collaborating with a company that they're basically outsourcing.
Some like the art assets or some of the
Well,
advertisement billboards,
yeah,
stuff
like
like that.
yeah, it's not like they want you to make 3D models and stuff, but it's and like make characters or anything like that. But it's like there's going to be a lot of like background stuff that you would find in like a colorful science fiction city. So I think they want to outsource that to just random artists, which is a pretty good idea. I mean, other games do that. It's not a completely unheard of thing, but to talk about it publicly was interesting. So I did like that, and that's kind of a running theme. Was that there was a lot of mention of like, we care about the community, we want to be transparent with gamers, and then demonstrating that in some way. So I liked that because it was the only conference that did that, and it was Ubisoft of all
Yeah.
people. So I enjoyed that, and what do we have here? Okay, so then after that it was the Division. The Division 2, they showed a gameplay at Microsoft, and thankfully they did not show literally the same thing at the Ubisoft conference. It was different. They talked more about it. And this is, now I haven't played the Division 1, but this is where I started to realize, like, oh, okay, this is a problem for Anthem. Because some of the stuff they were saying about the Division 2 made it sound way more appealing than Anthem, and they come out close together. And
Yep, they're definitely going to be competing with each other when they come out.
As someone who doesn't play either, I was much more interested in the Division, and a lot of that came down to them saying, like, we are going to provide, these little mini expansions throughout the year, and they're all going to be free. And that's a huge problem that Destiny 2 just had, was that they had 2 expansions, you had to pay for them, and they weren't well received. So that's like,
it seems like they want to fix the problem that these games have.
Yeah.
And it's a problem that like not many a lot of MMOs have already fixed, is that the end game is not fun or interesting.
Yeah. And
like in MMOs, the fun part is the end game. I think a lot of these games haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah, I think the Division 2 is starting to figure it out because they pretty much talked about endgame. They said, like, when you get to the end game, this is all the new stuff you get. You get a new progression, you get new weapons. Like, so they wanted to make it clear right off the bat that, like, we're in it for the long haul. Like, this is not about just the stuff at the beginning. There is going to be a trickle.
As long as this generation lasts. Right?
Well, yeah, hopefully they'll cross that bridge when they come to it. But,
yeah.
That's the big issue. Like with Anthem, they were trying to sit there and pretend like, oh, the story, it's going to be neat because we're BioWare. But that nobody gives a shit about the story in MMO-type games. Like, it's not happening. So you need more than that to sustain people. And The Division, I think, is at least aware of that.
Yeah. Because you can make a compelling, like, MMO-type game if you make the gameplay and what you do compelling. Because I've played MMOs and I've given, like, 2 shits about an MMO story in a while. And, like, they're still fun. Like, I still enjoy them just because of the gameplay itself and the loop. Like, they have to have a good loop of gameplay for people to really like it.
Yeah, the other thing that they brought up that I've seen a good reaction to this from people online was that they said, hey, we're going to have raids. Because they didn't have raids in the first game. I mean, there was a lot of co-op stuff, but, like, 8-player raids, which, okay, that's better than Destiny, so...
I just hope they're not limited by their setting, because I know raids usually require there being a raid boss, so I'm curious what kind of bosses they can do. Like, is it just going to be like a tank? Like, are you fighting a drone?
Yeah, I agree that's where this game, because Destiny and Anthem can obviously have the potential to have much better visuals. But the Division, it sounds like they're more committed, or at least they've expressed it well, as far as, like, we're going to make sure there's stuff for you to do, and it's going to be free. So that is important for these kinds of games, unfortunately. Like, that's where we're at.
I mean, service games are kind of a neat and interesting idea because they allow developers to keep living past their games
and
ship date.
And that's the thing, is that this is Ubisoft is, I think, the only big publisher that is actually making service games that are working. because
Nintendo.
well, they don't have as many, but
Well, Splatoon.
Splatoon is the only one. But like,
Arms.
no, Arms is not the same because they're done with Arms. Like, it's not still
They
going.
finished. Well, they finished Arms, but they still
Yeah.
serviced it for.
Yeah, no, but I just mean like Rainbow Six is on its third year of content. For Honor is back. They made a comeback and they're adding new stuff, like a
Yeah.
whole new faction,
They're
like
definitely sieging like.
and that's what I like
Honor.
is that they've found a way to make this work, and so that's what gives me hope for the division because they have found a way to make it work, and hopefully it can last. And so yeah, like some people really just hate the whole concept of a game even being built in this way, where stuff is constantly being added, but this is a good way to do it. Like they've made it work, and that is worth noting because people should follow that example. Not saying that it's 100% perfect, but it is working, and that's surprising because I didn't think For Honor was going to get more content. I thought they were just done because it didn't really take off, but they made it work, and so that is interesting to me. So I like that they acknowledged that during the show. I like that they talked about that stuff. How we are still committed to these games. So that was good. And then there weren't really any other games that they showed that fit that mold of like this is a service game. I mean, maybe The Crew 2.
Yeah, The Crew 2.
I guess that's another example because when The Crew came out, I remember people said it was really bad. And then it inexplicably got 2 years worth of expansions, and now it has a sequel. So I guess enough people liked what they were doing, but I don't. I mean,
is it simulation-y or arcadey?
It kind of looked somewhere in between. I would say it's definitely more simulation, for sure.
Okay.
But like this one does look better though, because like
Yeah.
it's not just cars. Like there's a lot more vehicles in this. Like you got boats, you got planes, so that definitely opens it up. And I like that idea. Like, it is an open world racing game, which I know you don't like, but I think it was, from what I've heard, it was handled better than in that Need for Speed game.
Well, that Need for Speed game just died on.
Yeah, and it's a neat idea. Like, you can travel across the United States as an open world. And I know it's not actually the size of the United States, but
yeah, no.
But it's a neat idea. It's a good way to have
is.
diversity in the biomes,
Yeah. Speaking of, I guess, a diverse game that's a little different from everything else, Starlink.
Yeah.
Or as people are calling it now, Star Fox.
So I forgot all about Starlink, and then I was like, oh yeah, this is that toy game. And that's the thing is that I think the game looks neat, and it always gave me Star Fox vibes, but the fact that it's a toy game, I mean, it's 2018, and the other toy games that existed have failed for the most part.
Even Amiibo is slowing down.
Well, Amiibo has only had one or two, no, just one. There was only Amiibo Festival, right? There weren't any other games that like required Amiibo.
Mario Party.
That was a mode, and that game was bad anyway.
Well, yeah. There's no real big Amiibo.
So like the Amiibos also, a lot of people just collect them. And these, so I was just nervous. Like, this is a nice idea, building a ship and like modifying it, but toy games, I don't know. I've heard that Skylanders game is like a ripoff. So,
I mean, if you go out to Toys R Us right now, you can buy pretty much every Skylander under like $30.
Yeah, exactly. Like they've really failed over time because people got tired of it. So with this, I don't know.
This is like a very. I don't know if it'll succeed. I don't know. I might try it just to try out to play the Star Fox ship. That's about it.
I will...
having a toy like a toy R-Wing is cool. I'd like that. Like that'd be cool to put on the shelf. But
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I might give it a try, but I don't know.
Yeah. Other than that, this one's up in the air. Wait and see on this one. Yeah,
and
now this one, the next game right here. I think this is a big mistake, and I really don't think they should do this.
Yeah, so...
this is too early.
I don't...
And
I kind of agree, but at the same time, I liked this game. When I saw it, I liked it.
I know, no, it can look as interesting as it is, but this is not the right time to do this again.
Yeah.
They just have this problem. So okay, so the game we're talking about is Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah.
it's another Assassin's Creed game that is coming out. What year is this one? Because I didn't get the date.
Oh, I think this is probably coming out this year.
Okay, so if it is coming out this year, okay, we're if we are wrong on this, sorry, but we are. This conversation is running on the pretense that it's coming out this year. Um, if this is coming out this year, then all the years and the 2 years they took off from the Assassin's Creed franchise, they have learned nothing.
Was it even 2 years? I thought it was just one.
It was like around 2 years of nothing. It was after I think that
Like
really bad one.
No, Unity was the really bad one, but then they released Syndicate the year
Syndicate.
after, and then there was like a gap, and then I think
But
Origins came out.
I don't know, like for some reason, Syndicate it just feels this game kind of feels like a Syndicate in a way because it has the two playable protagonists.
It's not the same because that's not the same because that's just your gender.
Oh, okay, so that
Yeah,
doesn't okay, so
it doesn't have
oh,
to. It's just you pick which one you are. Like it's not.
okay, then okay, all right, that's cool then.
They were a little
But
confusing on that
I
one.
still think that Assassin's Creed is still in that area where it's too still oversaturated, and just releasing another one a year later is a bad idea. And I think like they will kill this franchise if they keep doing this. I'm pretty confident.
Yeah, I don't like that they're doing it like this. I hope these don't become yearly again because that really was not that didn't work.
That was not cool.
But at the same time, I was like, I haven't really played Origins, but I think more so with this one than Origins. I was like, wow, this looks really different, and I was like, this looks kind of neat. This is really different. I mean, it
Oh
looked,
yeah, the setting is neat.
it looked like I was playing The Witcher. Like it was really, really different, and they kept mentioning RPG while they were talking about it. So like they know, like they don't. They're really trying to change what Assassin's Creed even is, and that's interesting to me.
I know.
I like that
And
they're
the
changing it, but that doesn't mean that you can keep doing it every year
It
because
could be a stellar game, but it's just too
soon.
early.
Yeah,
Too soon. It's way too soon.
I
They
agree.
should've waited- They should have waited a little bit longer. Maybe even like a year and a half, even. But doing it again in a year, I can't.
Yeah, I don't like this. This is so I'm a little skeptical, but I did like it. I liked what I saw of it, but I just don't know because I don't like this progression. I mean, you can't make an Assassin's Creed game that's like a service game. It's not possible. So they just decided to keep making them every year, which I think is a really bad idea.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
they could try another multiplayer suite, but I don't think people want to play that
no,
anymore.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, this could go either way, but I was interested in it. I thought it was a good way to end the show. There is one game we didn't talk about that was mentioned,
What was it?
which was Skull and Bones.
Oh, Skull and Bones. Yeah.
I don't really know. I mean, I liked what I saw, and I've been saying ever since Black Flag came out that they should have just made it its own game. Like, Black Pirates should just be a thing. But, I mean, I thought it looked good, but at the same time, we just had a pirate game, and
Yeah. It's I don't know, the boat only stuff still I don't know, makes me a little
well, they showed him
makes me a
walking
little
around.
uninterested. Oh, they did?
They did.
Oh, okay. Just a heads up. This is like and you notice.
I think you were
probably
just
noticed
you were just
I
listening
haven't been
to
talking
it,
too
right?
much. Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
listening to this one.
Okay.
This one I didn't exactly pay much attention to. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean, they showed him, like, he was at a pirate base, and he was walking around, and then he went and, like, set up his ships so he could go do a thing. I don't
Yeah.
necessarily think it's going to have, like, a open world to walk around in, but, hopefully it'll be a little more. And I don't know, I mean, they showed, some of the online and stuff like that. And, I mean, it looks better than Sea of Thieves, but it's not done, so I can't really say.
Yeah, we can't really say.
So hopefully
Wait.
that's good, but I don't know when that's. I think that's set for next year.
Yeah.
That could be a
Okay.
nice thing for him.
I guess closing on Ubi.
Yep.
I can't say anything. So, what did you think?
Well, it kept my interest, and that was neat. Even if I don't know if I would buy Skull and Bones. I don't know if I would buy Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I don't know if I would buy The Division 2. but I was still like, oh, this is neat when they were
You were
talking
interested
about
while you
them.
were watching.
So they kept my interest throughout, and that was nice. And I liked the nods to For Honor. Obviously, they were announcing new stuff, but I liked that they acknowledged Siege, even though they didn't have anything to announce. It was a good. It got their message across that it's like, guys,
Well,
we got this. We can make service
what,
games.
why do you need to announce any Siege stuff when they've already peaked with the Pizza Pasta Force?
That's true. Pizza Pasta just came out, and oh god,
Uh,
it's good
Listen,
stuff.
we're Italian. We can make these jokes.
That's true. Yeah, so they obviously mentioned that had just come out, but it wasn't like For Honor where they're like, we got a big fancy trailer because we got new stuff on the way. But it's good. It's like it was a good time to remind you about the game.
Yep.
So,
I guess we move on to
yeah,
probably one of the most scatterbrained, oddly
yeah,
paced one of them all.
yeah. This conference, I think, is a great example of how the way that you present things can have a huge impact on how people receive them. Because this conference had perhaps the worst 15 to 20 minutes, like as far as the starting of it.
Oh yeah, the
It
startup
was
was awful.
it
And
was
everything.
horrible.
It was plagued with technical issues. It was plagued with like weird waiting.
Yeah.
Like
So I would.
the Twitch stream died at
It
one
did.
point.
It
The
died for
Sony
everyone.
stream.
Yeah. So I would, if you have not watched the Sony stream, I would not advise watching it. I would just advise watching the trailers that were shown during it on their own, because as a package it was garbage. It just did not work. At least from the beginning, it really didn't work. And
Yeah. But the stuff they showed.
the stuff they showed was okay, but I actually found it a little disappointing, because when they were hyping it up, they were like, we're going to give you a deep dive into 4 games. I do not feel that... I feel that the only thing that came close to being a deep dive was Spider-Man, and the rest were just perfectly normal gameplay trailer demo sequences. They were not deep dives. And so that was a disappointment.
It kind of spells a kind of like, hey, we've pretty much won. The generation's ending. Here's something, I guess. Like, because even like the pacing of this was like, okay, this is a terrible start. Okay, yeah, I'm starting to get interested. This is yeah, you're getting me. You're getting me.
And
then
it
just
stopped.
cuts.
Dude,
it just stops.
It didn't even, like, the guy...
Spider-Man's not a closer.
Spider-Man ended, and then it just stopped. Like, he didn't even come out and say thank you, good night. Like, it ended, and there was an after show, but that wasn't that still didn't really mean that you should just...
and even in the after show, they showed like a FromSoft game that probably should have been there.
Well, maybe, but I mean, yeah.
Well, no, because they need to show VR games because they have a VR headset. It's not like
Yeah. I mean, I didn't. Yeah, like, so let's just go back to the beginning.
We'll start.
Yeah, the stream starts.
The weird times.
The stream starts. It looks like everyone is hanging out in like a farmhouse or like a little long house, like a cabin. It's a weird looking stage that everyone is sitting at. And the guy who's in charge of Sony, I keep forgetting his name. He comes out. I think it's Sean Layden. I could be wrong. He comes out and he's like, "Hey, I'm going to intro the show." Boy, isn't this a cozy little place? Then he leaves. Then a guy comes out and plays Banjo for like 5 minutes.
I forgot about the banjo playing.
I don't even think he sang a song. He was just playing banjo.
Yeah.
And then that stops. And then they start playing a cutscene from The Last of Us 2 that takes place in a room that is basically the same room that the stage is on. Like,
yeah,
you get it? So, we have a Last of Us demo. I found it to be fairly normal. It was not that different from the Tomb Raider demo where, it was gameplay, or at least it looked like gameplay. I have my...
It seems like they're definitely going in on the aspects of Last of Us than because honestly, I haven't played Last of Us right now, but the gameplay was definitely very brutal.
It was brutal. I mean, it looked a lot like the kind of gameplay you had in the first game, I guess, but I didn't really see anything new Like it all just looked like stuff that you
Like
could have done.
no new big twist really.
No, they didn't even show the zombies or like new types of zombies. So that was kind of
Yeah.
I was like, there's nothing really that special about this gameplay. It's just normal gameplay. You
Like if
know,
they showed new enemy types for
there wasn't
the
even like a new
variable.
story. I mean, yeah, there was a cutscene, but like the cutscene that they showed did not have anything to do with the gameplay.
Like I guess the only hint of story would be like maybe like Ellie is in like a new convoy with people or something.
Well, Joel is in the game. He wasn't in this footage, from what we've heard. So,
No.
I don't
Some
know.
people are saying Joel might be dead, but who
I thought
knows?
they already. I don't really remember. I think I watched the initial announcement, and I think Joel might have been in it, or they mentioned Joel or something. I mean, whatever. Maybe he's dead. I don't know. Uh, I'm not a, I'm not an expert. But yeah, it didn't. There wasn't anything super exciting about that footage from my perspective. I do think that, hey, it might be interesting to see what they do as far as the story, because the story of the first game
It's what
and
carried it really.
it's all that game had. I don't think that game, as from a gameplay perspective, it was okay, but it was all about the story. So I think this will be more of the same.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. That's
Oh,
how.
what was that thing you noticed about the first one where they named the building wrong in Massachusetts?
Oh yeah, no, I mean I don't really fault them too much for
No,
that. But
it's just a funny
yeah,
thing.
if
That's
you
all.
okay, yeah, so if you're going to set a story in a specific real like city and you're gonna reference real buildings, make sure you get the names of the buildings right. Nobody calls it the Capitol building, all right? It's the State House. So
Yeah.
so please get your facts straight.
Okay,
Anyway,
okay, viewers, try and pinpoint where we live.
yeah,
Well, no, don't do that. Just go by state.
yeah, I mean whatever.
Whatever.
I mean it's not exclusive to Massachusetts. I see that in other things all the time where they're getting stuff wrong.
Fallout 4.
Ooh, anyway,
Ooh.
so after the Last of Us 2 demo,
Okay, yeah,
they
here's the
hard
pacing
cut.
problem.
They hard cut and they cut to like it looks like an esports stage, and there's just random people talking and like, oh, we're here at Sony, we're gonna just talk about stuff, pardon the delay, and they talk about stuff and they show commercials for Call of Duty Black Ops 4 and I think Destiny 2 and
Black Ops 2 is now on. I mean, Black Ops 3 is free on PS Plus. So if you're a PlayStation Plus, download that now if you want to do that.
yeah, I mean, it was just whatever. They were just
Yeah.
like, look at these quick. They were basically just commercials, and they're talking, and it's going on for like 10 minutes. It's going on for a while, and then the stream crashed, and we had to go over to a different stream that was hosting the
Yeah,
same
we
thing.
had to go to the official
Yeah,
Twitch channel.
PlayStation stream crashed, but somehow we could watch it on Twitch.
Yeah.
So either way, we're
It
watching.
was not a good first impression.
No, and I'm sitting there going like, oh my god,
And then when we come back,
They're in a-
it's in the main theater.
Yeah.
And there's a guy playing, I guess, traditional Japanese music on a flute.
yes,
I guess a
for
wood-
5
a wood-
minutes. He's playing on a
For
flute.
5 minutes. And it's not that it's a bad song. It's just.
It wasn't really a song. It was just like this guy's playing on a flute. What's gonna happen? He's playing on a
But
flute.
it's just taking a while. And then the conference finally picks up with when they get into Ghost of Tsushima.
This is finally where it became an actual conference. Although I still think it felt very sterile and unwelcoming. But
Yeah.
so Ghost of Tsushima, the game was kind of quietly announced a while back, and I'm not really. I haven't played any of Sucker Punch's games, but I was like, ooh, open world Japan game. That sounds fun because that's something I've kind of wanted for a while, and the gameplay that we saw was neat, but I would have liked more elaboration as to what.
You'd like a deep dive.
Yeah, we didn't get a deep dive, and that's kind of my issue. And one thing that I did see in there was one thing that was worrying to me, was I want an open world Japan game, but since they talk about how the Mongols are invading, my immediate worry was, is this going to be an excuse to have the open world be mostly empty? Because that would be kind of lame.
I'm gonna assume it'll be like God of War.
So
Earlier.
I just don't know. I mean, I'd like for it to be more typical, more like I want to go hang out in like a town. I want to hang out in like a Japanese city. I want to be a cool samurai. You
Yeah.
know,
I will say what they did show
I liked it.
was really amazing. Like
Yeah.
the end fight with like you just the particle effects with the leaves blowing and then the
Yeah.
leaves get set on fire by Mongol arrows. And it's just the
That was
camera
really
looks
cool.
great, the budget's going off. It's just like you
Yeah.
can feel money coming out of the video game.
I like
It,
that.
it was a very it was very like amazing, nicely done moment, and I really enjoyed that. So I
Yeah.
am definitely excited for this game.
Yeah,
I
I'm still
I hope we
very
get more elaboration on the gameplay and what you do in Ghost of Tsushima, other than go through a story.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but it looks really good so far. It's still probably a ways out, but I'm interested.
Yeah, I don't know when this will be coming out. I think that's kind of a running theme with this conference was that Sony did not provide release dates, I think, which is not a good sign.
Yeah.
But, you know, I liked what I saw, and considering that this is the first time we've seen the game, I'm okay with there not being a release date, but it's happened with other games that they showed later, so...
Yeah.
So next, they showed a thing, Remedy is making a game called Control. I thought it was Quantum Break 2. For all I know, it probably is.
I mean, it looks cool. It's definitely like it's definitely doesn't have like I wouldn't say it doesn't have a unique setting, but it definitely feels like it's one of those mind bender games
Yeah, I mean,
where it's like
mind-bending...
they try to trip you up.
It could
which
be
is cool.
neat. It could be neat, because Quantum Break, it didn't have that much of that. Like, there was some time stuff, but it wasn't, like, crazy. This looks a lot crazier, so this could be neat.
Remedy is good. They're usually a good developer, so
Yeah.
I you know this is probably quality. I just wish we got a little bit more on this.
Yeah, I don't even know if this game was previously announced, because it was a very quick trailer. I don't know if that was, like, a world premiere or not, because they don't have a guy
all right,
shouting world premiere.
The game we forgot to say the name. The game we were talking about is
I thought I said it that. It was Control.
Oh well,
Whatever.
I have bad brain. My
Whatever. Either way.
All right. Now we go on to
More importantly, I think
A
this
very
was the most excited that you were.
this.
Yeah.
No, this
I like this one too.
so good.
Yeah. I actually
It's like,
also thought that was I thought it was a very clever trailer. Like,
Yeah.
I realized what it was because the way that the visuals looked, it looked enough like Resident Evil 7.
Yeah.
But I like it. It was like a clever way to fake you out and be like, is this still going to be in first person or is it going to be in third person? And I'm glad it's not in first person.
It's a good trailer to tease you. Like, oh, what is it? What is it? And then like,
It was-
you're
it was neat.
a rat, and
Yeah.
then you get crushed, and then it zooms out and it shows a zombie.
Yeah.
And
I liked it.
you're Leon. There's Leon in
Yeah.
his first day on the job uniform.
Yeah, I mean, this is, Resident Evil Classic. I think that the remake of the first Resident Evil is, like, a really interesting game. I think that as far as, like, being a remake of a game, it's really cool what they did. Because the original Resident Evil, as much as it's a game that people really love, it's a game that almost immediately aged horribly.
Yeah.
So the fact that they were able to go back and, like, kind of fix it up and also add to it was
Don't
really
open
cool.
that door.
Yeah. Yeah, like... So Resident Evil 2 is also a game that people like, and Resident Evil 2 I think has aged a bit better, but it is still a very old game at this point, and that's a great example, because Resident Evil, like, they're not that long, they're very replayable, the areas are very specific, so, like, it is easier to remake it. All they really have to do is they have to make sure that the combat is good, you know?
Well, they're gonna remake it. I'm gonna assume there's gonna be some remixed areas. The game itself is in the RE4 third-person style camera.
Yeah, it looks like it.
There are rumors that there will be a mode where you could play it with fixed cameras, but obviously that's not confirmed, and that's just hearsay at this point.
Yeah.
But the game itself graphically looks probably one of the best looking Capcom games in a while.
It does look really good. It looks really
The
good.
RE engine is amazing. But also, there was also, after the trailer got out, there was some press stuff came out, and there was a second trailer for Resident Evil 2 remake,
Really?
which is actually a little bit. It shows a little more gameplay than this trailer.
Oh.
And actually, I'd say it's probably a better trailer. Like the first trailer is good at like teasing you,
Yeah.
but this one shows you like a lot more. and it's way more interesting. So I would recommend, like, if anybody who doesn't know
Okay,
this
I
trailer,
didn't see it. Yeah.
definitely look it up. They also confirmed that this will have the extra modes that
Oh,
Resident
really?
Evil 2 had. So you're getting your hunk. You might get your tofu. You might get tofu.
Dude, tofu in 4K.
In 4K. Oh my god, 4K 60. Also,
Dude.
apparently 4K 60.
Well, the trailer was at 60 FPS, so this should still run. I mean, I'm happy about that. I mean, that's a cool touch.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely one to be excited about. I think. I mean, Resident Evil is a very interesting series. You know, it's got its ups, it's got its downs, but
Also, it's coming out in January.
yeah,
A lot sooner.
well, it's so. I think it was January last year was when Resident Evil 7 came out. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, this has been in development for a while though. We just didn't really ever
Redo
see it, and yeah.
We remember the We Do It is literally it getting greenlit.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm happy that they're doing it. I'm happy it's being done with the new engine and all that. And I think it could be really fun. I mean, I think it's just a cool idea. Like, game remakes can be really cool.
Oh, okay,
So-
yeah. So yeah, I found the video. So this game started development in August 12th, 2015. So it's been a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
I guess. It's just surprising. You know, I was kind of like, I don't know about this when they first announced it, because they announced it, and I thought, like, are they trying to make a remake of Resident Evil 2 in the style of the Resident Evil 1 remake? Like, that's what I thought it was going to be. But
Yeah.
I'm glad that, I'm surprised to see that, oh, they're putting more effort behind it.
Yeah.
So this could be really cool, because Resident Evil 2, I think, is considered by a lot of people to be the best Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Um,
This definitely makes me want to, like, pick up, like, an old copy of Resident Evil 2 and play it again, or just play through it.
Oh, yeah, good luck with that.
Well, I don't know. The N64 version only costs like $20, and
I don't know.
apparently it's the best version. So
Really?
give it a shot.
I don't know about that.
It has analog control.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Okay, so maybe it is.
So yeah, it's the best
You
version.
could get the GameCube port.
Does it have analog?
It's a GameCube port. It should have.
Does it have analog control? It's got to have.
Why
analog
wouldn't
control.
it have analog control? It is just an analog
Because
stick.
tank control existed.
I know.
And analog control kind of saves RE1 remake.
Yeah. So
But,
yeah, I mean, this was kind of like the most excited thing that we saw. Not to say that
Yeah.
the other things we saw after this were bad, but this was like, oh, a surprise.
Well, this was the thing I was most excited for. The thing you're most excited for, I assume, is probably after the thing we're gonna make passing mention of.
Oh, sure. Well,
Hey, so
Look.
remember Rick and Morty?
yes.
They have a game, and
I don't even remember what it's called.
just I don't know. Somebody saves the universe. Justin Roiland's doing a shtick where it's like improvised. Okay, just a quick thing, I guess. There has never been more of a fiasco that has damaged either a person or a branding of a person's work than the McDonald's Szechuan thing. Because every time I hear Justin Roiland or see a Justin Roiland
Yeah.
product, I just go back to that very like waterfall of just the worst kind of behavior
Yeah. The only
and
thing.
just associated with that. And I know I shouldn't, and I know it's not his fault, but God, oh my God.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not really a Rick and Morty fan. I've seen a couple episodes,
I mean,
and
I watched it, and then
I thought they were
yeah.
clever, but they didn't make me laugh. And then the Szechuan stuff happened, and I was like, oh God, what is going on? I don't know, man. I mean,
society
look,
collapsing.
fandoms. I think fandoms in general have become really bad. Like, I think that fandoms are not nearly as fun as they used to be, and I think that's like a
Yeah.
cultural thing that's happening. But that Rick and Morty stuff legitimately was like disgusting. Like that's the kind of shit you'd see at DashCon.
You had videos of people fucking throwing the Szechuan on the ground, and then they would scramble with their nuggets and scrape it off the ground.
No, that
Oh
was
my
it. That's what did it for me. I was
That's-
like,
yeah.
I can't watch the show because I'm gonna just think of this. And
This show, yeah, everything Justin Roiland, unfortunately.
so I know
through
it's
no fault of his own.
yeah, I know it's not fair. I know it's not fair.
It's not
but,
fair. It's totally not fair.
So
but
yeah.
it happened. and
So,
we can't. We
yeah.
really can't forget. It's
So this is all I think about. I guess.
whenever
Yeah.
Squanch or whatever
I
games.
know.
Yeah, we're sorry, Justin. We're sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I do
Um.
apologize.
Anyways, on to more. I
Yeah.
guess.
Speaking of high IQs, let's talk
Yeah.
about Death Stranding.
All right. So I noticed when we were watching this, you got really quiet.
Oh, because I just didn't want to. I was like, ooh, I gotta just watch this.
And I will say the song that they played, which I assume is probably the Death Stranding theme or whatever, is great. That was a
Oh
great
yeah.
song. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean,
But yeah, you talk. You go off.
well,
This is your deal.
and you never really know what to expect when you're watching a Death Stranding trailer. This was definitely a lot less weird than the
Yeah.
previous ones, which I don't even mind. I mean, I've said this since the beginning that the minute that they show the gameplay and it's like you shooting stuff or taking cover, it's over. Like the mystique is over. And I think they maintained the mystique with this trailer because the gameplay that they did show did not contain a lot of like conventional or traditional
It was
stuff.
very sparse. I feel like they're definitely taking cues from Breath of the Wild, at least I guess
Maybe.
traversing wise. It looks
Yeah.
like that.
Oh yeah, yeah. As far as getting around the world, like if you are gonna have to do a lot of walking, which is what the trailer implies, then I'd like to hope you have, varied and efficient means of doing so. I mean, they didn't really get too much into that, but I think that's what they're trying to get across: is that hey, you're gonna have to be going from place to place. I mean, maybe you'll see other players if this is an active online game. Maybe we don't really know.
Yeah.
That I liked, I liked them showing the thing with the ghosts or whatever they are. Like that was neat. It was cool.
The
I like,
monsters.
yeah, I like that the clapping is like that's the game mechanic is that is pointing at them, so you have to watch it. It's not like a giant threat indicator. It's just a physical thing on the character model. I like that.
Yeah.
One thing though that I was hoping to see that they did not show, because they have talked about this since the Game Awards trailer, because when you die and you use the baby to come back to life, it creates a large crater. And Kojima did say that those craters will remain in the game world.
So you can really screw up your game if you keep dying.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm curious about. So, like, they showed what appeared to be him dying, but they did not show that happening. And I was a little disappointed that we didn't see that.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it was neat. There's still a lot we don't know, and I understand they're keeping it vague. I watched some of Kojima's interview that he did with Jeff Keighley, where he was still very vague about a lot of things.
He knows how to advertise his game. It's so mysterious.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm
what did
really
you think?
interested, and I really want to know what this is, but
I mean, it's a Kojima game, so odds are I'll probably like it. But it is very different from what he's done before. Like that's the one thing. Like people who maybe haven't really played a lot of his games, or they've just seen silly things from Metal Gear, and they're like, yeah, this is just Kojima being Kojima. But like, I get very, very different vibes from these trailers than I've gotten from his other games. I mean, there were moments like this in Phantom Pain where you felt like he was taking a new step as an artist.
yeah.
But this is like that unleashed, where he's not constrained by the Metal Gear format, and he can really.
Konami's no longer holding him down.
Yeah, and so he's just doing whatever he wants to, and I mean that could be really good or really bad. I don't know. I'm just impressed at how many like actors he's gotten, because at this point I think we have what I'm assuming is like the full cast list of like these are going to be the main characters of the game. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm impressed because most of these actors are like people who are in demand, or they're in movies or TV, and it's amazing that Kojima has somehow gotten them to work on this game. And that's neat. I mean, I was not alive in the 70s when the Bionic Woman was on, but I thought that the young Lindsay Wagner in the end of the trailer was really cool visually, because it's like they had her doing the facial stuff or whatever, but then to like de-age the actress and stuff, like that's really cool to see it in a game. I mean, you see that stuff in movies all the time. But this is definitely different, and I thought it was really neat. I also thought the animation when Leia Sado was eating that caterpillar
Flesh
thing,
She
that
loves
was
the crunch.
that was some animation right there.
Yeah.
Um, that was nice. So I don't know. I mean, there's not that much I feel I can really say because we still don't know a lot. I'm hoping that I was disappointed we didn't get a release date. I will say that.
Yeah.
I was because I feel
I'd
like
say
2019. But this game should come out in 2019. Like
2019 or 2020 at this point.
yeah.
I'd say for more info at this point, Game Awards. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
We're not gonna hear about this game until Game Awards again. Which is fine, but
Well, I think that Kojima.
I wish we got more of a deep dive like Sony promised.
Well, that's what I mean. I can't really fault Kojima for not wanting to do a deep dive, but I went in. Sony told me they were doing deep dives. That's not what happened. So
None of these are really deep dives. None of these were deep dives.
no,
honestly.
I don't consider a single one of them. I mean, Spider-Man, it looked like they were showing a level from the game, but it wasn't like he's in the open world and now he's running around. Now he does a side quest, then he does a main quest. Like it wasn't a real vertical slice, in my opinion.
Anyways, I guess is that all we have for Death Stranding?
Yeah,
Because we don't have anything.
yeah. I mean,
Oh my God.
it is what it is, and I'm excited, but I'm not
What
gonna.
it is looks pretty great.
I'm not gonna freak out because I don't know when it's coming out. And it's
Anyways,
not. Last thing I'll say, because
Okay.
I know people talk about like the Kojima hype train. The reason that I don't really want to get excited about it, or I feel like it's not right for people to try to pretend or at least act like there's a giant hype train, is because the Kojima hype train, in my opinion, the hype train started in 2005 when Metal Gear Solid 4 was announced, and since the problem is that Metal Gear Solid 4, Peace Walker, and 5 all had one thing in common. They were the last game Kojima was going to make in the series. And this game is not that. I mean, I don't expect this to be the last game he'll ever make, so...
With Death Stranding as a thing.
So, yeah, I mean, this is just, he's making a game, and it's exciting, but this doesn't have a giant hype train, because, with Metal Gear, it was like, this is the end, this is a huge deal, or and there was expectations. I feel like with Death Stranding, I don't have any expectations. I mean, I have some expectations, because when I like Kojima's games, so I expect them to be good, but this game's so strange looking that it's hard to really know what you're getting into. And I also say this about the Kojima hype train, is that, yes, sometimes he uses his trailers to make them look weird, or make them look confusing, or make them look like they toy with your expectations, but when the
Kojima trailer,
when the game comes out, it's coherent. You're not playing the game and you're like, I have no idea what's going on. So that's my hope, is that Death Stranding is coherent. I guess that's what I'll say.
It's if anything, just always refer, I guess, to the vine of the little kid trying to explain something and he just can't.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have tried to explain this trailer to people who don't play video games. Not this trailer, but like the previous three.
Other Death Stranding.
The previous 3 trailers, and they just like, what? This is real? They're like, I want to see this because this doesn't sound like this is a real thing. So that's that.
Before we get to, I guess, Spoderman, we get Neo 2, which, like, first Neo was good. Seems like they're going to be changing up one of the mechanics they had in the game, where it was basically a rage mode or a devil trigger type thing, but it seems like it's a real devil trigger where you turn into like some kind of demon.
Yeah, so, there's no gameplay, so
yeah, no gameplay. So that's all I can really take from that. But yeah, Neo is a great game.
Isn't it awkward? Isn't it awkward that FromSoft is making a samurai game, and like after Neo?
Oh yeah, no, it's there. It's basically a 3-way monkey fight with Ghost of Tsushima, Sekiro, and Neo now.
Well, Ghost of Tsushima at least looks like it's realistic. It's
yeah, but they're all games that feature samurai doing samurai things.
Which, hey, I mean, that's not too bad.
No, it's not. It's better than post-apocalyptic doing shoot things.
Yeah, zombies.
So no. Well, Resident Evil zombies.
Resident Evil zombies are nice, but like, what was it, Dying Light 2? It's like, whatever.
Yeah.
The only thing of note with Dying Light 2 is that Chris Avellone is involved, but I don't necessarily think that game is his style. Anyway.
All right, all right. Last two things to cap off Sony.
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
So I've been kind of, hey, Spider-Man looks like it could be neat, but you've been more apprehensive about it than I have.
I've been apprehensive just because the combat. And I understand Spider-Man games aren't about combat, but I really don't like Arkham combat. It's just always, it never feels good. It's just kind of like you're on autopilot, and there's never really a challenge. And that's it's every time you fight a boss with Arkham combat, it never feels like you're fighting a boss. It feels like you're just fighting a bigger guy with a health pool. And it seemed like the combat is a little different, but
yeah,
I'm apprehensive.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not. I think that it's kind of hard to tell. They showed more footage of Spider-Man immediately following the stream, and that looked more like legit gameplay. But in the trailers that they had, yeah, the combat looked kind of like autopilot, but at the same time, it also looked like he was chaining together some varying different moves very quickly, which could be really cool. Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, a game that now is only really known for the pizza theme that played.
Pizza and the web swinging.
Yeah, but that's the thing is that Spider-Man, that game was a big deal when it came out. I remember it being a big deal because it was like, whoa, it's open world kind of, and you're Spider-Man. And
it was the first open world Spider-Man game that really went for it.
And we haven't had a Spider-Man game in a long time, so trying to recapture that is neat.
Well, we've had Spider-Man games on PS4, but they weren't particularly good.
On PS4, really?
Weren't the Amazing Spider-Man games on PS4?
Oh God, those don't count. When did that? That was a long time ago. At this point,
I know, but they existed.
Yeah, but those don't really count.
I know.
I mean, those are just licensed games. But yeah, I mean, this is like a return to form.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of. I was with all the villains showing up in the trailer. I was getting like a Spider-Man PS1 vibe.
Yeah,
with all the villains.
Yeah, I mean that would be neat. Like, let's really lean into that. I mean, the first villain that they showed was Mr. Negative. Like, that's an interesting pick for the first villain you're gonna show.
Yeah, I think it looks cool. I like that. I like Mr. Negative.
So I was like, okay, let's go for this. I mean, this could be fun. I mean, it's not gonna take itself as seriously as the Arkham games, obviously, because it's Spider-Man. But I like the idea of just trying to reapproach this, and Insomniac, they did Sunset Overdrive, so they've demonstrated that they can make a game that involves getting around a place really quickly and all that. So that's good. I'm hopeful, but at the same time, yeah, the biggest surprise with this game is that it is a PS4 game. I don't understand.
Yeah,
because it's
Spider-Man. Sony and Spider-Man. That's pretty much all that needs to be really said.
Oh yeah, well, I guess so, but it's still surprising.
Yeah.
But either way, it looks good.
At least it's better than Activision owning Spider-Man when they did.
Yeah.
You don't remember that? That was a thing for a while. Those games were. I mean, we had more Spider-Man games, but they weren't better.
Well, there was the one where it was like
all
the different Spider-Man, like from the different time periods.
Spider-Verse, I think.
I heard the first one was good, but the second one wasn't.
Yeah, because it was like mostly 2099 stuff or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like the idea of this, and
I mean, I like the cel shaded one. That one was good too.
I think that this is a surprise. Like, it's still weird to me that this is like a big Sony game, but Spider-Man, go right ahead.
Yeah. Yuri does a good Spidey.
Of course it's him. Of course it's Yuri Lowenthal.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
And Yuri, but Yuri is in the game, so he keeps saying Yuri in the trailers, and it's confusing me.
It's, I guess as a little backstory, we have a little thing called Time to Yuri.
Yeah.
And
seconds to Yuri, where you can rate how good a game is depending on how quickly you run into Yuri Lowenthal. So, I don't
Yeah.
know. The next time you're playing a video game with voice acting, you should try this. You should time how quickly you run into him because often it's like, wow, he's there. He is. It's been 5 minutes. It's been 10 minutes. It's great. It's a fun game. So give it a try.
Yeah. All right. Let's just cap this off with FromSoft's game, which once again shows the weird pacing because this was shown after the conference
Yeah,
ended.
the Spider-Man demo is over. It ends on a
And they-
cliffhanger. No one comes out to say the show is over. They just start playing a short montage letting you know that it's over. By the way, in previous years, I've complained that they showed a lot of games in a montage that they should have shown actual trailers for. This year, the montage was just the games they showed, as opposed to completely new games. So
Yeah.
that was a horrible, like come on. Because I've criticized them. Like, when they had a lot more exclusives, they could have shown them, and they didn't. And this time it was like, wow, you guys are really committing to showing us very little.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah, it's still weird.
So-
Ever since last year.
And I lump the FromSoft VR game into this, where the trailer was really vague. Apparently, it was a VR game, but we didn't get the sense of that from the footage. So, I don't really have anything to say about it. I mean, it's surprising that FromSoft is making a VR game, but I don't know what it is.
It's like it seems to be a VR game that's gonna have like some kind of story with like I guess aristocratic elements.
I don't know.
I don't know. It was too vague,
Yeah.
but hey, FromSoft's making a VR game, so
Yeah.
and I guess yeah, that caps off Sony. Like we said earlier, Sony is a very weird one. It starts hard, gets going, and then it just stops.
Yeah, I would, even though, I saw some good stuff at Sony, I would still consider it disappointing because no deep dives. That's going to be the key word.
No deep dives, but the
I liked Spider-Man, I liked Death Stranding, I liked Ghost of Tsushima, I liked seeing Resident Evil 2, although that was obviously just a trailer. There were things I liked that I will probably buy. But I was disappointed because I was told to expect more, and I did not feel that I got it.
Yeah, we got less than what we
And also,
got.
having everyone go into a stage and then having to leave the stage is a horrible idea and destroys the flow of the show.
Yeah.
So that is it as far as conferences.
Yep.
But before we end, I want
That is not Nintendo.
Yeah, of course.
Because
Nintendo.
Nintendo,
that's
we're
part
wait-
two.
like we said earlier, that's part two. We're waiting on Nintendo to finish up all their streaming stuff because they usually announce big things there.
Yeah, but I would like to ask you: was there anything that didn't show up, and that you were surprised didn't show up?
Anything that like didn't show up?
Oh yeah, because I could think of at least one that you were surprised didn't show up.
I don't know. Like, I guess like maybe the Marvel Avengers game didn't show up.
Oh yeah. Well, Square Enix definitely had that issue where things that maybe we should have gotten more information on weren't there. But you were upset we didn't see Mortal Kombat.
Oh yeah, Okay, yeah. I completely. Yeah, brain. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and this whole idea that Mortal Kombat was going to show up mostly comes from a pattern that NetherRealm Studios has had.
Yeah.
Where it's like fighting game comes out, support it for a bit, then the E3 after the one they showed, new game, and they didn't do that this year.
No.
So which is very like. I wish it was there, but I'm curious what they're doing now.
It's
Because
possible. Well, have they
people-
hinted that they're working on a new Mortal Kombat?
Ed Boon hints at everything.
Yeah.
So he's the master of teasing.
It makes
but-
me wonder if they're working on a new game that is not a fighting game.
Well, that's the thing, because people are saying like, and I think this might be like a thing that maybe Ed Boon said, but this might be Ed Boon's last video game. He might be retiring after this one.
I wouldn't be surprised. He's been in the industry for a long time.
Yeah, he's like probably one of the oldest like person who's been in the industry like since the arcade days.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. I mean,
he was there for the ESRB like formation.
Yes.
He was there for the big controversies that Mortal Kombat created. So Yeah, it'll be sad to see him go, but it seems like this will be his swan song in a way.
Well, I mean, it's good that
Whatever
he.
he's working on.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's the case, but it's good that he was able to revive Mortal Kombat, himself.
Yeah.
It's good that like he was there for it.
It really died in a bad way with MK versus
Yeah.
DC.
So whatever happens, it'll be interesting. But yeah, Mortal Kombat. I guess I can extend that to Warner Brothers in general. Warner Brothers, I don't feel like they really showed anything. Like Rocksteady, another example.
Yeah.
The Batman
These Superman
games.
game?
Yeah, there have been reports or rumors that a Superman game has been in the works at Rocksteady, and we've not seen it, at all. And so it's very weird. And I guess that's it. Like there's a few companies where I'm like, what are they doing? But besides that, I can't think of too much. Square Enix definitely could have shown more, and I think Warner Brothers being absent was weird. Maybe they're waiting until Gamescom, and that's the other thing. I think that if you don't see something, wait a few months, and it tends to show up at Gamescom. So
Yep. So
that's the good thing is that hey, there's another convention in Europe that hopefully can provide some more stuff. But I think
it's I think I
yeah.
don't know. It's the what wasn't shown. What was just CG trailers is definitely like other stuff that I really wish they showed more of. Like
Yeah,
I don't know. Cyberpunk only being a CG trailer was disappointing.
I agree.
I wish we saw something of Doom. Let me no. What's another one? I guess. But yeah, there's just like a few things that I wish was just more.
Yeah, and that's coming back to what we said. You know, you watch a lot of these and you go, "That's it." It's
Yeah.
very awkward. But E3 is not done. There's still information coming out. Nintendo is obviously still going to be doing stuff.
Yeah. If
And
there's, I guess, anything that's not Nintendo related that comes out that we can we'll talk about in the Nintendo section,
maybe,
probably.
but I can't imagine there being anything super breaking. But
Yeah,
you know,
unless it's like a Soul Calibur character announcement or a port
ooh.
or like Link being in Soul Calibur.
Yeah, we'll see what
Switch? I
happens.
don't know.
We'll see what happens. But I think that's pretty much it for this episode. We're going to try to have the second episode, very shortly after things wrap up at E3. So I hope you stuck through us. We talked for quite a while. I hope you enjoyed it.
Oh yeah.
And thanks. And we will see you soon enough.
Yep. Yeah.
Bye.
Everyone out there, have a nice night.
Bye.
Bye.